Now I'm craving things that I should Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. I hope you're all doing well. Better than my bangs, I hope. Mark Jack, thanks for continuing your gift sub. And I think that's it. Tucker White says, just in case anyone for some reason feels bad about Madeleine Albright today. Oh god, what's this?
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Ugh. Good start to Chud Watch. Oh boy, today's gonna be I don't like doing Chud Watch. Meek says 2022 is the year of Olsteny. Oh, because Destiny got banned. What if we do this? Will this hide the atrocious bang situation? A little better. We'll go with that. If we get a hats off, only glasses, because we're wearing this. And yeah, Destiny got banned from Twitch or something. I don't know if it's just a suspension or a ban, but his channel's not there right now. I don't know why. Don't ask. Because I do not know. Speedy Yoshi says, did you hear about the Dave Rubin thing? All of his fans are surprised becoming homophobic, and when he blamed the left, saying Rubin suggests that the constant challenging of social norms by progressive has pushed good, decent, thoughtful conservatives into a state of uncertainty, sparking the hatred reaction to his announcements. Yeah, it's wild. And, like, I said, I think on Twitter, I'm like, this is ridiculous, the things these people are saying, because I think Dave Rubin's a piece of shit. But criticizing him for being gay is not something that makes any sense. And it's just weird mental gymnastics from his side, trying to have him justify why he's on the side of homophobes. It's weird. So anyway, we have a big long thing with John Doyle. A big long thing with John Doyle. I probably could have phrased that better. We have a long video with John Doyle from Slightly Offensive. We have Terrence Popp talking about what an alcoholic he is. We have, and I swear to God, I'm not kidding, Andrew Tate of Tate Speech talking with Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. I'm not joking. Tucker White says, if it's post-Franklin Delano Roosevelt, just assume that every leader cabinet member should be standing trial before The Hague. Elliot Hulse, vegan teacher, Undead Chronic, a Christian dad who's very concerned about the film Turning Red because he thinks it's inappropriate for children to have an allegory for puberty. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I guess let's start with the Joe Exotic thing. It's only 3.5 minutes. This might honestly be just a... Yeah, this is a trailer, basically, for his full conversation with Joe Exotic, but I gotta see this. And upcoming will be his full conversation.
I'm saying this here on video to remind myself. I need to get Joe Exotic out of jail. Because the last thing I watched on Netflix was Tiger King, and Joe Exotic's the man, and he's gone to jail, and it was just forgotten.
Joe Exotic is a terrible person who abuses animals, his employees, his husbands, and tried to have someone murdered. He's a terrible person, so that explains why Tate likes him so much, I guess.
About him. Oh, Joe Exotic was funny, leave him to rot in jail. No, I had to get him out.
You got John Phillips and Joe Exotic.
I do. What do you know, man? I appreciate your help.
Hey, man, you deserve it. I'll tell you something. You're famous out here in the world. You know that.
I don't see nothing.
Bro, the whole world was on fire when they watched Tiger King. You're a...
Why is Tate into this all of a sudden, by the way? This is a new video from 2 weeks ago. Tiger King was like a hit reality show documentary like 2 years ago. Why is Tate so far behind?
A superhero.
He did also embezzle money from his political campaign. True.
All I know is that I get letters from probably 30 different countries, and everybody talks about all these wonderful things that I've done, and I'm in prison, dude.
It's crazy, and that's what I thought. I thought it's crazy how the whole world watched your documentary. Everyone loved it. You're the guy everyone loves. Nobody.
Did people go out of Tiger King liking Joe Exotic? He's a fucking asshole. Joe Exotic is a terrible person. If you came away from Tiger King liking Joe Exotic, you have brain worms. Lily Love Stuff says, my issue with Turning Red is they stole my middle sister's face and personality for Priya, like to the point where they even took her chin mole. I still haven't seen Turning Red. I'm gonna be honest, I gotta watch it. Logart says, the Tiger King franchise is going for a full cinematic universe. They're supposedly making shows about the other people in the show. There was even a recent Where Are They Now in 2021. I watched I think it was a Peacock show, which is a bad streaming service I don't recommend. At least until they bring back Quantum Leap, which I know they're doing, but it's not out yet. Anyway, they did a dramatization of it called Joe versus Carol. I actually really enjoyed that. So if you see that, I'd recommend it. Maybe not on Peacock. Maybe, procure it on the high seas somewhere, but it was kind of fun.
He likes Carol Baskin, and then everyone kind of forgot that you're in jail at the end of it, and that's why I need to get you out, my friend.
What does Tate think he's gonna do? He's in prison. He's been sentenced for like decades, I think. I don't know how many years he got, but it's enough. It's enough. Does Tate think... Why would Joe Biden pardon Tiger King? No, it's just weird. Does Tate, like, think you can just, like, pay money to someone and get a get-out-of-jail-free card? That's not how that works. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 23 months, says, OMG, almost 2 years. Over 2 years. It came out in... Actually, almost exactly 2 years. Didn't Tiger King come out in, like, March? No, it must have been April 2020, right?
It's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, I appreciate the hell out of what you've already done to help me. But sometime in the near future, if you could talk, there's some other legal avenues I can take that will clear all of this up and make some money. And I would really like to talk to you sometime, or John knows what I want to do, because I'm not somebody to beg for money. I just need some help, and I promise you we can get it back.
Oh no, I completely understand, my friend, and that's how the world works, right? Sometimes you're in a tough spot, and
wouldn't it be funny if Tate somehow actually got him out of jail? Like, it would be terrible because I think Joe Exotic is absolutely guilty and deserves the time in prison that he is having, but like, just on a cosmic, absurdist level, wouldn't it be so weird if Andrew Tate, the millionaire chud that we make fun of, somehow sprung Tiger King from jail decades early?
you need someone to come along. But man, I watched the documentary and I loved it, and I couldn't believe there weren't enough or more people out there trying to get you out. So I just want to let you know that keep your head up, bro. Stay positive. You're a superhero out here in the real world, and I'm going to talk with John, and we're going to do our very, very best. I'm going to support in any way I can, and we're going to get you free, make you a free man again.
Well, John has definitely worked his ass off to get all this new evidence. We just got to get around this crooked ass judge.
Yeah, I have man, the legal system's a joke. It really is crazy. There's nothing fair about the legal system or just anymore.
Hey, you ought to see it from the inside.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But man, it's good to speak to you. I just wanted to say hello and let you know I'm going to be working with John and seeing what I can do my end. And keep your head up, bro. You're a superhero.
Tate is a very, very weird guy. Good luck getting him out, Tate. Not gonna work out, but do some more videos about it, please. Nick says he's right that the justice system isn't fair, but not for the reasons he thinks. Yeah. He's been doing lots of shorts lately. Except for the giant he's been doing that podcast. Episode 2 came out. I don't want to watch this whole thing because it's super long, but like...
Twisted it and put it in an arm. Your mate, Jack Murphy. Now we have to talk about news stories.
Now we call him Mac Jerfy.
Mac Jerfy?
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just Tate and his brother sitting around and acting like they're cool for an hour.
All right, Mac Jerfy.
All right, so what's in the news?
All right, what's in the news?
Got some news for you.
What do we got?
Oh, do we need Dork of the Week?
Dork of the Week.
Dork of the... No, because bullying, we'll get taken down, man. Because we'll go hard. We will go hard. Yeah. I once lectured my mother over dinner when she had said the moon landings weren't real in front of like 10 people. I do not accept ignorami around me.
One thing that's cool.
Oh god, there's 2 of them. I've never heard his brother talk. They're the same person.
That happened this week is if anyone, when I was talking earlier about how I'm proud of what I've built, I actually am, because what happened was, the story is very, very short. I started with absolutely nothing, became extremely rich by myself through absolute tenacity. That's the one thing I have that nobody else has.
He was stupid enough to invest in Bitcoin, and then it got pumped for really, really dumb reasons that had nothing to do with his intelligence or lack thereof. And now he's rich. And he basically provides women a space to do OnlyFans and Fansly and stuff from a big warehouse where he has, like, bedroom sets. So he's basically a digital pimp. Sky Comet Fallen, thanks for 14 months, says, 4 months until second sub, baby. I'm still waiting for the first one's child support. Keep waiting. Steve with the Q says, all aboard. Dr. Gamble with 50-bit says, are these the clones the tinfoils talked about? They must be. They're malfunctioning. Hype Train,
unmatched perspicacity and indefatigability, and I'm tenacious and I'm compendious. I'm all of those things. And what happened is I went into space-time. I walked out into the universe and I attacked space-time.
I saw him do this.
I grabbed it by myself and I twisted it and put it in an arm lock and told space-time, you better make me tall, strong, rich, sexy, funny, interesting. You better give me all of it. I refuse.
Logarth, thanks for 45 bits, says hype train. Mr. Whiskers with 100 says, is that a train coming? And Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs, moving the train right along.
Used to be anything else, because you know why? No, now I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad now.
All right, let's go.
Because you know why?
Unleash.
All these other people on fucking Twitter and YouTube, and they're like teachers teaching shit, blah, blah, blah.
Preach.
We have it all. Why are you going to learn from the fitness guy if he's a fitness guy who ain't rich?
A bunch of people here are asking, by the way, and the answer is no. Is Andrew on testosterone steroids? I'm on loads of testosterone. You know what boosts testosterone by 15%? Smoking.
Smoking beats.
It really does. I don't need injections. We don't take steroids ever.
Did he just recommend people bring up smoking? Take up smoking. Bittergrin says it's like being hyped up by a clone of yourself. Bumble Homestead with 150 bits says shudder. Sky Come Up Fallen says you're in a space-time right now. You're in space-time right now, you insane dumbass. 35% to level 3. Literally, if these were movie characters, you'd be like, this is a bit much. Rich asshole guy and his like hype man brother who looks and sounds almost exactly like a palette swap of him. This is pretty on the nose.
Put my blood test on Twitter, and I'll do another blood test here live and put it on.
Live. We do not take drugs, so stop asking stupid questions.
Never taken testosterone. I don't take creatine, protein shake, none of that crap. You know what I do? I smoke cigars. I drink booze.
His brother looks like a Trump.
I hit the gym, and I lift the weights like a G.
That's it.
That's it. There's
Hard
no
work.
secret. Hard work. That's all it is. But my point is, the reason we are so qualified
I just noticed Tate's not wearing a shirt.
To teach is because we're all-encompassing individuals. And when you're all-encompassing, what you can do is you can identify and teach the advantages of correlation between different asset groups. So if you have a guy who's like in really good shape, but he's broke, right? He can teach you how to get in shape. That's fine.
Cool.
That's good. But if you have a guy in really good shape like me who's also rich, I can teach you the correlation between the two. I can teach you how money will affect your fitness. I can teach you how girls will affect your mindset. I can teach you all the different things. And then what I can do is I can teach you how to springboard from one to the other. We made our first money, webcam. We made our first money, millions of dollars, the money from having girls.
Yeah.
So we springboarded. We excelled in one area and springboarded and used it in another area. So if you come to me and you're in good shape and you have nothing else, I'll tell you how to use your good shape to get rich, how to use your good shape to affect your mindset, all these different things.
You ever heard the saying?
37% to level 3.
First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the woman? That's wrong. We are kickboxers who started a webcam studio and got rich.
I don't know if they know this, but Tony Montana isn't a role model. He's not someone you're supposed to look up to. It's a cautionary tale. How can 2 people be this much of a meme of Dunning-Kruger? I don't know. It's what they excel at.
First we got the power, then we got the women, and then we got the money. So, again, on the flip side, if there's a fat nerd who has billions of dollars trying to teach you how to get rich, he can teach you how to make money, maybe. But he can't teach you how to be rich as a G, how to enjoy the world as a multimillionaire when you're tall, strong, dangerous, smart, sharp, all the above. So why would you learn from that dude?
That's right. So
because I got enough money.
That's right. So you gotta learn from us.
Hardluck Moses with 100 bits says, gotta love not getting alerts for a stream. 44% to level 3.
Give me a woo.
Woo!
Woo!
Ah, yeah, I was talking about why I'm proud of what I built. So once I conquered Earth and realized I'm the greatest human on the planet, I thought I need to find all the other G's out there. And I realized that if you're an actual badass and you're living life, you're not going to interact with cool people on a day-to-day because you're too rare. Ever. So I joined all these private network groups, and they were all full of dorks. They may have been rich.
Geeks!
But they were geeks.
They looked like...
Steve with a Q with 100 bits says, all I can picture is Tate and Tate Bro in a Spider-Man meme. No, your fake accent is worse. 49% to level 3.
Geeks.
They everything about them was a geek.
They spoke like geeks.
Maybe my wife will let me out one day. Like, you're a CEO. What?
You're worried about your wife?
Your wife.
Your wife won't let you buy a Lambo? You're pushing a Toyota and you've got 10M? One, you're still a bit poor, I get it. But buy the Lambo.
Weak. So...
Stone Corbell says, Hannah, this is critical levels of eye roll inducing. They're going to disappear into the back of my skull. That's the goal. H-Baird says, these two have strong Night at the Roxbury vibes. I kind of want to see how they act at a club. And Neems or Colboth, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community.
I started the War Room to basically put the feelers out there and attract a conglomerate of superheroes. It's kind of like Avengers. And now what's happening is, and I'm saying this to all the people watching, if you're ever in a high-end club or a high-end establishment, you might, very much like the bat signal, see a War Room logo projected. So this was in, yeah, there's the logo behind us. You can see the logo there. And this was in Las Vegas last night.
12,000 miles away from us.
So that's what's going to happen now. We have over 1,300 members in 72 countries. So if you're ever...
Those people pay you to get in, right? So how are you vetting them for being cool? They pay you thousands of dollars for your classes, so they're just people who had enough money to give you money, right? Might as well just, like, buy one of those ape NFTs and join, like, the bored ape NFT club or whatever. It's just arbitrary. Sky Comet Fallen says, not everyone wants to be a rich asshole. This is so sad. I can tell they peaked in college. Oh, you assume they went to college. Cute. Tea with Goblin says, morning, Hannah. Is there anything more tiresome than unqualified, obnoxious men talking about themselves as if they aren't howlingly insecure and lonely? Logarth says, I've been to cooler venues at a furry conventions. Sky Comet Fallen says, I meant peaked as a college frat boy. Nick says, you just answered yourself, Hannah. You have more money. They have money to give to the Twat brothers, and that's how they're cool.
ever standing somewhere and you see
79% to level 4.
that logo
Hydrate.
projected, you know there are bad boys in the building.
We'll do the John Doyle thing after this, by the way. After the hype train and once we're done with the Tate thing. Tube Man says, oh god, there are two of them now.
There's War Room members here.
Yeah.
We're conquering Earth now. So anyone who's not inside, you know what's kind of the way the world works. The world is very, very much player versus player. There's only so much money. There's only so many women. There's only so much happiness, right?
You have to take it.
I have to take it. I am super, super happy. That's why you're all sad. I took your happiness from you. Yeah. I have all of it.
Yeah.
I took it. It's right here.
Space-time
right
gave
here.
it to us
right
when
here.
we threatened space-time.
Yeah, space-time gave me your happiness. That's why you're sad. And as the War Room conquers, unfortunately, as members enrich themselves, the only way that can happen is if non-members pay the price. You're either inside or outside. Very much like what happens with governments and organizations, all these things. As they enrich themselves, everyone else must suffer.
For every bottle of champagne I buy, there's got to be some French man, barefoot, stepping on grapes. I don't want to step on grapes. I'm busy.
It's true.
I need the fireworks.
It's true. So,
How much did you pay him for the wine? Just saying.
I've got War Room updates. I've got screenshots I can show you from inside the War Room. But you know what? No.
I don't think that's even the point of the podcast.
No, it's not. So I just want to let people know out there that if they ever see the War Room signal, you need to be scared. It's like Batman's in the building because members we're getting bigger. We're conquering all the high-end establishments. I don't know if they saw what happened in Dubai. The king of Dubai and Ronaldo was in the same swimming pool as us.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, that football guy.
We booked the whole look.
Imagine that's something you feel is impressive. That football guy, Ronaldo, I swam in the same pool as him. Alright, cool. Did you exchange fluids? Why do I care? Chibbers says, this reminds me of that Always Sunny episode where Mac's cousin visits and there are two of them. Nick says, I threaten space-time reminds me of the song called That's How I Beat Shaq by Aaron Carter. Princess Amelia says John Doyle hype. We'll get to that soon. Tucker White says, I've watched weebs play D&D in character at con and somehow this is dorkier. Screaming at the Radio says they don't look happy, they look angry, in fact. That's just kind of their idle emotion. Sky Comet Fallen says, this is the face of the new rich. Fun fact, old money people hate them as much as us proletariat. 98% to level 4. And Maps and Mimics gets us to 100. Choo-choo.
Location out, and the next day they were there.
So
They rented the same place out, but we had it first.
the king of Dubai was trying to flex on Ronaldo in the same place the War Room was having its summit.
There are only so many high-end places in the world. There are only so, no matter how rich someone is, Jeff Bezos could not buy a faster car than me. He can't. We are at the top level. He can't go to better places than.
I'm gonna be honest, Jeff Bezos has enough money, he could probably put money into research to have a faster car designed, so that's not true. Steve the Q, thanks for 80 bits, 3% to level 5.
It's true. There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So we just finished Dubai, and our next War Room summit is actually going to be in Colombia.
Colombia.
That's true. Jeff Bezos went to space. Do you have go to space money? And I mean design your own rocket. Have people design you a rocket to go to space, Rich. Not hitchhike on a SpaceX thing, Rich. Have you ever been such a chud that you stole an emotion from a principle of quantum physics? Relativity is a broke-ass little bitch. Nick says, these are the kind of people I wouldn't be sad if they got tricked by a Nigerian print scam. Logarth says, Jeff Bezos has a rocket and is literally going to space, Tate. 8% to level 5.
Woo!
Lives. Here you get to interact with us, hear us talk, it's live, but Take Confidential is where you get to see like an inner workings of what we actually do day to day. So
probably just this, but not in the studio, right? You just like talk each other up. It's fine, I don't care. It's obnoxious, but it's your life. Color by Emmy says, my old boss was rich with a Lambo and he smashed it into a tree and it exploded. Now that's true happiness. Meek says, for some reason the two of them combined are more insecure than the sum of their parts. It's true.
Yeah, I found one.
all right.
I found one.
Quick, bust it up. Quick.
Quickly.
Quick.
It's just an ad to give them money. There's still nothing compared to this baller. Oh god, what is it?
And then your whole entire living room, and I got 4 more.
Yeah, Lil Tay, hold on. Sky Comet Fallen says, you're not at the same level as Jeff Bezos. You're poor to Jeff Bezos. You're not just stupid and narcissistic, you're delusional. I'm laughing at you right now. Seriously, my mom is staring at me like I'm crazy. 16% to level 5.
Houses. Y'all haters are already older than me, but y'all still talking shit. I'm a 9-year-old millionaire, and I be smoking dope, bitch. Shut your mouth before I smack you, auntie. Lil Tay out here balling in the IA. I dropped 200 racks on this car, and I'm only 9 years old. I got the keys to this car. See this? These are butterfly wings. Y'all haven't seen this car in your lives. I've been driving this around the Beverly Hills area, and I'm only 9 years old. I ain't got no license, but I ain't ever gonna get no license. Lil Tay just got verified. Y'all all said I wouldn't make it, but bitch, look, I'm verified now. Lil Tay, the youngest flex of the century. Bitch, I just got verified.
18% to level 5 with a minute left. We're very close to succeeding in the hype train.
Yeah.
Don't
and
let
our
it
lifestyle
fail.
is very, very, very fun. I don't think there's a single YouTube channel where people are spending as much money as we spend, having as much fun as we have with so...
Imagine that being a selling point. Having such an empty and vapid life that your selling point is, no one on the internet spends as much money as us, which, for one thing, is objectively untrue, but secondly, just makes you look like an asshole. Conspicuous consumption is tacky. Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub. Maps and Mimics, thanks for gifting 3 tier 1 subs.
So few subscribers.
85% to level 5 with a little under 30 seconds. We're very close. It would be embarrassing to lose at this point, chat. We can't be embarrassed. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. We did it. We did it. I missed a Tucker White Bits message. Sorry, I'll go get it. Tucker White said, the robber baron who brought you a yacht so F-U huge that it requires a historic bridge to be dismantled can't buy a car that's faster than what Tate and Tate 2 Electric Boogaloo own. Sky Come Fallen says, newsflash, she's a fraud. I don't remember how I learned this, but apparently her parents work as real estate agents and her mom roped her into posting as rich in high-end apartments and homes she's showing. Yeah, I knew that. Jean Fedora, no. I veto. I would like to wear the flower crown today, so either you gotta pick sunglasses, or, I gotta give you the points back. Feed you fire, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Wagroad says, Jolin True with 100 bits. Points back? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just feeling weird about my bangs today, so I really want to cover them with this. Hydrate. Save them, and next stream I will make sure they are fixed. Astro Fox says, so what's the over-under on when these guys blow all their money on a bad investment like the one? That's a good question. I'm actually gonna, just for today's stream, real quick, I'm gonna turn off the... I'm gonna turn off the hats off one, just so people aren't doing it, because I need this flower crown for my self-esteem. Let's see. Okay. That one's off for right now. I'll re-enable it for the next stream. Okay, let's do it. Well, we haven't taken a look at our friend, John Doyle, in a while, so I guess we should see what he's been up to. John Doyle is incredibly suspicious to me, mostly because he almost never puts out videos anymore, and only very occasionally makes guest appearances on this show slightly offensive. So it makes me wonder how he's actually making money. It seems underhanded to me. It seems like he's getting money from somewhere, and it's sus. But anyway, we're going to take a look at one of his very rare appearances on the internet as of late, and that is, of course, on the show Slightly Offensive. It's bad. John Doyle is even worse than he was. I don't have much else to say about it. Let's see what's going on in the world of crypto white supremacists. Logarth 50-bit says, this is how hard furries party. We structurally compromised a building with our dance. Yeah, I think I heard about this. Jesus Christ. And Nick says, Eli Schaefer, part of my top 10 most... Can't say that. Zarek says, any chance he went back to working for Subway? Unfortunately, no. I gotta read those John Doyle Insta posts I sent you. I can't, they're on my phone. Tucker White says, what, does he have even less brevity than before? This video is an hour long. Doyle's being paid by Russia, obviously, in my opinion, of course. I wasn't gonna say that. It's also kind of conspiracy theory-y, but it wouldn't surprise me. He is friends with Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes has ties to the January 6th thing. It's a whole thing.
Oh, I know those moments when you just want to harass people based off their skin color. Those are the good old days when we could walk around and harass people out of the pure motive of just being racist. But you can't be racist if you're black, because this is your month. Happy Black History Month to everyone, and especially to two of my favorite people who are back in town today. Adam Krigler, happy Black History Month, and much COC in your face, confetti of color 8K.
Yeah, this is the show John Doyle spends time on now. I know I'm not surprised. I assume you're not surprised, but yeah.
Hey, graphics, welcome back to Slightly Offensive.
Thank you for having me back. It's good to be back.
Do you like it? Do you love
I'm sure YouTube is very proud to have us on their platform, by the way.
the color? Do you love the diversity in the air?
Can I get some more confetti?
Can we blast it?
I need
blast
some
it up.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Fun fact, they had Kyle Rittenhouse on somewhat recently onto this program with John Doyle, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a big John Doyle fan. He fanboyed over seeing and meeting John Doyle. I know that's not a surprise, but still disappointing. Reality is disappointing even when it's predictable. Lily Love Stuff says, maybe he's working on for InfoWars. I know Nick Fuentes is on InfoWars. If they are, not for long, considering what's going on in the Alex Jones lawsuit.
Feels good.
The moan is what makes it. Also in the studio today is the black person expert that we've been consulting. High price, worth it every time. John Doyle from Heck Off Commie, welcome back to Slightly Offensive.
And it's so true. Thank you for having me for yet another installment of Black History Month, and we're excited.
We are so excited. My name's Elijah Schaefer. Welcome back to Slightly Offensive, the best worst show on Blaze TV, where we all get confetti.
Tucker White says, if John Doyle is getting paid by Russia, then Putin doesn't know a good influencer from a literal turd. And Maps and Mimic says, well, my headcanon got canonized. That's rare.
Of color. I am joined by the lovely co-host slash producer slash resident journalist, everything else, but also the beautiful, the lovely Savannah Hernandez, who's here from the Rapid Fire Podcast. How are you feeling today, Savannah?
Doing great. Very excited for the show. You know, always love it when we have Adam Kriegler on and our Black person expert, John Doyle. So it should be great.
It is true. Let's just talk about that video for a second. We have a lot to cover today, including the fact that apparently it is now racist to not like big butts, which is now a new thing. They want to control your sexuality.
Does anyone think that? No? Cool. Let's make a whole hour-long show about it.
But I mean, I thought we've moved past this, Adam. I thought we've gotten to a point in our lives where you see this kind of video going up there, and I just would like to do this thing that people get annoyed by, but switching the races. Imagine if I made
Hydrate.
a video about how if you just see a black person, you just want to intimidate them and cause them harm. I feel like that wouldn't be so well received.
I agree. I think you'd probably get punched often if you did that, and I'm surprised.
Guys, no one gives a shit what you're attracted to in terms of, like, secondary sexual characteristics. No one cares. I don't care if you found a cringy TikTok from one person. Who the fuck cares? Why are you making an hour-long thing about it in order to justify your crypto-racist bullshit?
Well, she also has the woman card as well, so she's got multiple things going. You know, what are you gonna do if she comes up to you and does
I'll punch that bitch.
You would.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Are you?
No, if you punch a black person, then it creates this like mob mentality,
whoa,
and then everyone like
racist.
you can never just fight one black person. It always turns into like
Literally,
a group
no.
fight.
It's like if you,
I know. I grew up in that area.
if you kill one bee and then the hive attacks you, it's like attack one, attack all mentality. Dude, I that is like my least.
Thank you, Baha.
Favorite part of black culture in terms of like what's affected me directly. They never want to just fight one-on-one. Like every time I've ever been in a fight with a black guy, it's him and all of his friends, and they like mob you. It's not fair.
No, it is not fair. And
talk about justice. Talk about equity and
about
equality.
Equity. Before we even jump into the story, obviously we've talked a lot about this. We have the Diversity Coalition. If you don't remember, just a little update,
Oh, yeah.
guys. We have Madison.
This is incredibly racist. This is just normally what this show is like, just so you know. I'm sure YouTube is thrilled having this on their platform.
The Black Disabled.
They probably don't know about it.
Original Robinette. Are non-binary, named after good old Joe Budden. We have Camel Joe, named after our Vice President, Peggy the Peg-Legged, and John Hacker, the burned face Antifa doxer, as well as our resident clown pill, as always. We do have the newest member that came in for Black History Month. Adam's going to be modeling this for us. He is a model. Check it out, guys. It came in. Our Asian model, which, by the way, we bought one with joints that move because, as you know, no one experiences the wrath of Black history more than Asians during the last couple years. Yeah, go ahead and open it up. You guys voted on this, so it's able to fight off attackers in the subway, which I want to remind you that this is not actually a joke, but this is genuinely a real issue going on in our country. In remembrance of all of the Asians who have really faced the five-knuckled fury of Black history and excellence. I want to remind you that Andy
maybe some tea later, not right now, though.
says this is still alive today. A black male suspect has been arrested over the brutal stabbing murder of an Asian American woman in New York City.
Is this first of all, Andy NGO is the person who tweeted this, but is this the part of the show where we look at one crime and then use it to try and demonize an entire race of people? Must be a day that ends in Y.
Asamad Nash, very Western name, a career criminal who was released from jail for another assault case, allegedly stalked Christina Lee into her apartment and murdered her. And so on that note, happy Black History Month, everybody.
What?
Okay.
What does this have to do with anything? Like, literally, having that as a segment and then saying Happy Black History Month literally only makes sense in the context as if you are a racist and you're blaming every black person for the fact that one person of color was doing a crime and hurt someone. There is no other context in which that makes sense. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I get the feeling every fight John Doyle has been in has ended with him stuck in a locker or dumped into a trash can.
I was just going to say, but you guys voted on the name, and we're going to give you the...
Tube Man says, yes, because only black people murder people. Hold on.
On that note, happy Black...
Mm-hmm.
History Month, everybody.
Sky Cup Fallen says, can we blame all white people for school shootings? Same logic. Narnindy Owl says, if you think they just want to be racist... Oh, you think they just might want to be racist? I think you might be on to something. I know, it's very subtle.
What?
Okay, I was just going to say, but you guys voted on the name, and we're going to give you the name of the new member of the Diversity Coalition. But first, a huge shout out to our sponsor for today, Northwest Retention. Now, guys, you know the Second Amendment is important. You got to have a gun. You got to own that firearm. But is
firearms, actually, but
ultimate whole you got a few times. Basically, look at the secure retention, right? We trust here today. Do you have a vision of that? Look at that. Look at the joint bending. You guys voted, and the name.
There she is.
The name of this Asian comes from a famous movie, and you guys voted on Fook Me. So that is Fook Me, and that is that is I don't know where Ling Ling or her sister Fook You is, but and that is you guys voted on Fook Me. Of this Asian, the joint bending. You guys voted.
This is going to be a long one based on how often I'm going to have to pause this one. I can already tell. Nick says, would be a shame if Northwest Retention knew they sponsored such racist shit. I imagine they know. Brodent says, I walked in at an awkward time.
And the name.
There she is.
The name of this Asian comes from a famous movie, and you guys voted on Fook Me. So that is Fook Me, and that is that is I don't know where Ling Ling or her sister Fook You is, but that is Fook Me. And
so here's Fook Me, proud to present.
Fook Me is now part of this.
There we are.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I know everyone thinks they're the hero in their story, but these guys don't seriously believe they aren't assholes, right? I would imagine in their head, they understand they're racist, but they don't think their racism is incorrect. They genuinely believe in, like, white supremacism. They genuinely believe in what, you know, racists would call, like, quote, race realism. So they think they might be being assholes, but they're like assholes who are just telling the truth, the hard truth that people don't want to hear, as opposed to what they're actually doing, which is just being racist cunts. Tucker White says, pro tip, if you want to skip in-video ad reads, get an extension called Sponsor Block for YouTube. Nick says, these idiots are like, quote, black people are the real racists for Minecrafting Asian people. We just call them racist names. Ugh.
Let's jump into some of this stuff. So obviously we had this racist stuff. We've seen this white erasure, which I think is this new thing in Black History Month, where I don't know if you guys watched the Super Bowl, but they literally needed to have a halftime show to remind the public that black people exist.
What? The Super Bowl halftime show was good, and it was not themed around, quote, black people. Eminem was there. It was just a show that was themed around, like, hip-hop and rap, because it was a Super Bowl that took place in LA, and they had some of the best hip-hop and rap artists of the last, like, 20, 30 years on to do their hits, which is just a normal thing the Super Bowl does, bringing back really popular artists. Do you think Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, two of the most, like, popular musicians of all time, are diversity hires, you fucking idiot? What is wrong with these people? Tea with Goblin says, why isn't Black History Month about white people? Purple Nickel says, just joined. Say hi to my tiny rescue kitten, Bean, who's currently sleeping on my chest. Hello, Bean.
And you gave me a call on Sunday and told me you just found out about this too. Like they needed to do that because you never knew.
No, I had absolutely no idea. I mean, I think...
Does this mean John Doyle doesn't like rap music, like even a little bit? Do none of them enjoy any rap music? And I'm not like the biggest, you know, rap person in the world, but I enjoyed the Super Bowl halftime show, and there were songs in there that I recognized and really enjoyed. Like, what? It's like the most popular... I think rap and hip-hop are the most popular genre in America? I could be wrong, but it's like rap, hip-hop, pop, country, I think. I don't know for sure. But, like, what?
Dr. Dre had even mentioned before the performance that he wanted that to be the opportunity for the music industry and for the culture, broadly speaking, to not be able to ignore black people anymore. And I had never heard of this. I think it's called rap music. I never heard about this before.
What is that?
It's a new word to me.
Until
Is it a
Dr.
Christmas
Dre
gift
and,
or something?
No, not like WRAP, like
Okay.
RAP. I think it stands for like rhythm and poetry or something like that. Apparently, this has been going on since like the late 1970s in like Brooklyn area. I think it started, but everyone's just been
Rap
ignoring
music.
it
I'll
because,
write that down.
as you know very well by looking at the top 40, white people still predominantly control the music industry, and we have probably forever, which is why the top genres are things like country and classical and rock, and not obscure things like
Does John Doyle think white people invented rock music?
Latin or rap or anything like that. So yeah, I was really I thought the performance
Man, I love country music. Like Darius Rucker.
was
Right?
pretty
That's what John Doyle's talking about. Right?
pretty
Tucker White says, why do I feel like these dorks are just a few minutes away from breaking out Grease and putting on a minstrel show?
hip. It was pretty cool, and yeah, I'm all for this this rap stuff.
Isn't there?
Do I mean Hootie? Yes, I mean Hootie. Brodent says, guys like these are always talking about how their voices are being silenced. Damn, I wish that was true.
Something that's similar to something like hip and or hop or something like that?
Are you talking about
Is
rabbits
it an
now?
and or is it an is it or is it and or?
I'm not sure. I know it. It's vaguely familiar.
Well, I was just really surprised. I was wondering all those tanned people.
Nah, he's talking about Lil Nas X. True. Two Man says, John doesn't think white people made, he thinks they perfected it. Oh, God.
People were doing walking around. Turns out there's a name for them. They're called
We all know that Martin McFly invented rock and roll music at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance in the year of our Lord, 1955.
African Americans, and the Super Bowl let us know they exist. The crime statistics clearly never alerted us to that.
Can they go 5 seconds without saying a fucking racist thing?
I will say though, after the Super Bowl, if we can play the footage.
Like it's dog whistles all the way down.
I did predict on my last show that there was going to be rioting at the end of the Super Bowl if the Rams won, because nothing says civility like mobbing, and they did loot, and there was actual rioting.
And white people have never rioted over a sports victory or loss in the history of the world. Don't Google it, please. Meek says, this is worse than Crowder's show.
I don't know about you, but I feel like this is very counterproductive to celebrate your city's excellence in some form of an ability to win and to prove yourself to the world. I don't know what it does. By going out, destroying cars, destroying police cars, looting shops, mostly my...
Don't show them Vancouver. Lily Lovestuff says, black people invented rock and country. The only genre white people came up with is classical and European folk music. But something tells me that he would throw a fit if he heard some white voice. I don't know what that is.
Minority owned. And this is the kind of behavior that we come to know and love and respect from respecters of rap.
Yeah, there's rioting like every Super Bowl. Because people are idiots and drunk. Bittergrin says, don't look up European soccer fans. They're always perfectly polite.
Rap music and, of course, sports.
Yeah, and it's funny because back when they were burning down every major city in the country 2 summers ago,
Ugh, yes. We had to rebuild completely from the ashes, but somehow all the cities that were completely burned asunder survived. They know people can Google things, right? No city was, like, burned down. They're fine, John.
The rebuttal to the contesting of that was always, white people will riot if y'all lose a sporting game. And it's like, okay, it kind of calls back to this like vague idea of maybe an experience you had in college where like some white frat guys like lit a couch on fire or something. But it's like, no, even when there are riots going on or, these mass destructive demonstrations after a sporting event, like predominantly speaking, the demographics are still basically like the same. So I think.
Okay, here's another point
like,
to
no.
be reported. Bittergrin says, well, for those in Phoenix, it didn't take long to rise from the ashes. Shh. Jesus Christ, John, you're really, really bad at this. Like, he's not even dog whistling, he's just saying racist shit outright.
There are riots going on, or these mass destructive demonstrations after a sporting event. Like, predominantly speaking, the demographics are still basically like the same. So I think we have a pretty good understanding of like what types of people are more compelled to that type of behavior.
It's Black History Month. We're making the history. What would a month about history be unless we're making it in the moment? We are writing Black history as we speak.
True. I have a friend of mine who lives in Hollywood, and he said, I am boarding down the hatches. I have gotten some food. I'm staying in.
Racist guy has racist friends? Shocking.
And I'm not going out this whole weekend, well, this past weekend during the Super Bowl, because that was when they won. Imagine if they lost.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. But I do say, dude, like looting a Boost mobile store is a really good way to celebrate the month. I do want to remind you too.
Narnendia Owl says, at least Crowder got slapped by YouTube a few times. How are these chuds getting away with this? They're not a huge channel by the standards of like they have 444,000 subscribers, which is a lot, but it's not as big as Crowder. And they don't get as many views as Crowder. So I think they get away with it mostly based on the fact that they're not quite as popular, and the only people who really know about this channel are actual white supremacists who aren't going to report it, and a very small number of people like you and I. Logarth says, white dudes writing Black history is ironically very Black history-esque. Lily Love Stuff says, white voice is a style of singing from Eastern Europe. A lot of people find it annoying because it's not in tune to Western scale. I love it, though. Oh.
With this Black erasure, we're not the only country that is, why?
They are part of the Blaze, yes. Which I think is the network Glenn Beck started, if I remember correctly. Sky Comet Fallen says, can I tell him about all the race riots that were perpetrated almost entirely by white people? Do I need to show him a picture of an angry white mob attacking a black family in a car, or whites burning black businesses to the ground because they were jealous of their success, or the white people in sundown towns who literally ran black people out of town? They like that stuff, though. Don't assume their arguments are like genuine or in like good faith. They are not. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, honestly, this is probably what KKK and neo-Nazi meetings sounded like in the 80s and 90s. The existence of YouTube is the only difference.
White erasure, I should say, where there's this need for pushing, let's say, a little bit of diversity, which is to make sense for, especially with like universal or global brands, right? You might want a little bit of representation. If you're trying to sell a product overseas, you might want people to identify with some of the actors, etc. In the United States, though, we've totally thrown away equal representation in favor of over-representation, specifically with gay people and with black people, where there are actually quotas inside some of these agencies and in these unions that you cannot even qualify for awards like the Academy Award unless you have a certain level of diversity. And countries like Wales, did you know Wales was a mostly black country?
No, I didn't.
Did you know?
No.
Well, apparently, according to their anti-COVID policies, their mandates, a commercial came out from Wales that was trying to warn us to take the strategy of health and safety into our own hand, but they represented that the Wales population was pretty much all black, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you see this in all advertising. I've been playing a game.
Steve with the Q with 100 bits, and Nick says, hi, Kirthan with 45 bits.
With myself for the last 3 years, where I try to find a single white guy in any advertisement.
I just realized John Doyle literally just is holding a hatchet in his lap. Like a real hatchet. It's hard to see because there's stuff covering it right now, but look in his lap. He has a hatchet. Is he expecting like a race war to start any second in the studio? Tucker White says, as someone who watches pro hand-egg religiously, let me fill in some context. If the Rams lost, everyone would have just gone home. Angelinos only give a shit about the Rams because they don't currently suck. Of course, knowing these guys, I wouldn't be surprised if that video of the, quote, riot, unquote, was taken in a completely different time and location.
Who doesn't look like he's gay. And I haven't won yet. You, literally cannot find it because, as you said, it's all about the overrepresentation. And for all intents and purposes, this country in the West, broadly speaking, are, black ethno-states. I mean, the guys talking intents and purposes, this...
Just everything he says. Everything he says.
country in the West,
Nerninia Ellis says, name, John Doyle, occupation, internet tough guy.
broadly speaking.
And then Maps and Mimic says, something, snowflakes get triggered over ads.
Or like black ethno-states. I mean, the guys talk about, oh, white people are white supremacists. They want a white ethno-state. It's like, what defines an ethno-state? It's this population, and all of the decisions pertaining to that population are decided based on what would benefit like that ethnicity, right? And it's like, this is America. We are a black ethno-state. There is literally no decision that is made, whether it's within advertising, any other form of media, law enforcement, without thinking, well, what are black people going to think about this? And of course, a country should consider like what its population is going to, whether that's out of a moral obligation or a financial obligation, if it's with a business. But it's like, we're talking about 14% of the population here, right? And it's like, they're everywhere. And I gotta say, I don't know how many credit applications they're filing at my bank. And still, on the homepage of the bank, that's like all we see. Any advertisement is all we see. And it's not representative. And
I've never even seen a black person in my neighborhood except on advertisements.
Yeah, you're a white supremacist. I'd imagine you picked an area specifically for that reason. And doesn't that imply to you something interesting about the socioeconomic status of, like, the country? And that there's a de facto segregation in many areas? I recognize this. I used to live in Saginaw, which was an area that was very segregated, not due to any law, of course, because segregation is, like, illegal under the law, but because of, like, socioeconomic historical factors. There were two sides to the river in the city that you would cross a bridge, and one side is the one side is mostly white people, and the other side is mostly people of color. There's sort of a de facto thing going on, and that's why people talk about systemic disadvantage for certain groups. Speedy Yoshi says, black people being overrepresented in media. Boy, it sure isn't like that for the past 100 years of big cinema and comics and shit. It's been dominated by white people, so people are trying to actually be like, hey, there's more than just straight white males, but you're mad that not everything is made for you anymore. Moira Soma says, 94% of Wales' population is white. They lied. Surprise, surprise. They were being sarcastic. Sky Comet Fallen says, can we get a link to the video? I posted one already, if you wanted to look at the video. Here it is.
And I don't mean that in a rude way. I just mean like, it's like almost every billboard and ad.
By the way, 14% of like 300 million people is a lot of people. I don't know if you know that. It's over 30 million people.
Advertisement is like a usually interracial couple,
yeah,
or some sort of person of color. But I've literally never seen a black person in my neighborhood, and that's not. I didn't move there for that reason. I just moved to a safe neighborhood, and that just happens to be the correlation. But we do actually have a lot of Indians in the neighborhood, so that's actually true. And there's Bomb Curry.
Dots or feathers?
Dots. But you just make me say that.
Yeah. Too late. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sorry. I was like, I just like answered it. Like John says stuff, so you answer him just like a normal person. You realize, shit. No, but I was gonna say, like, it is true though with this representation that like we're not looking to equity. We're not looking to build relationships.
Tiger White says, in regard to the quote overrepresentation unquote of black people in media and advertising, I found an article on that. Truth in advertising: black people are 7% of a conveniently contrite industry. It's no surprise that in the aftermath of the worldwide uprising over centuries of violent racism, the private business sector is jumping on the Black Lives Matter bandwagon. In some ways, this is a good thing when businesses join the struggle to end racism, more specifically anti-blackness and its attendant ills. That creates a powerful tool in the quest to change a nation's behavior. In a perfect world, racism wouldn't just be shunned, it would be rooted out and destroyed in every aspect of American life. It would have happened hundreds of years ago. But something rings hollow when companies have, for all of their existence, been homogenous enterprises, espouse a sudden commitment to the causes of repairing the damage done by America's antipathy towards blackness. Put another way, owners and operators of marketing, advertising, and creative agencies have had decades to hire and nurture black people, yet industry remains staggeringly white. This is not an accident, and CEOs who have had endless opportunities to hire and retain black employees only to opt for more white faces are not just nakedly opportunistic when they claim to care about black representation, they are utterly disingenuous. Among marketing and advertising companies, black Americans account for 7% of the workforce. Hispanics also account for 7% of the workforce. It should be noted that the census is as foolish as it is racist. Hispanic is no more a color than, say, Californiaman. Interesting. Lily Love Stuff says, if the U.S. is a black ethno-state, can we please send all the racists, like, I don't know, to Death Valley and make them figure out how to survive since they burn in the sun.
Relationships. We're not looking to bring inclusion, diversity. This is about over-representation, about controlling and domineering. And I believe it's about diminishing the influence, the culture, the understanding of the past for some dystopian, reflection or image that we see on screens that truly does not reflect the entirety of our culture. It does not reflect the reality, and it's done to pander.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Let me remind you that they're getting this upset about, like, black people being in, like, I don't know, like a Yoplait commercial. Oh no, I opened my bank's homepage and there was a person on there who wasn't white. My goodness.
Imagine being a diversity hire,
Sounds
finding
sweet.
out, hey, Sav, how does it feel? Hey, by the way, we're not choosing you based on your merits or how good you are at anything. We're just choosing you because
The thing about, like, this kind of thing is that their default always seems to be that it is impossible that there is a best candidate that is not a white guy. So they assume all people who are, like, non-straight white guys in any position at all must be diversity hires, and that, like, diversity quotas are working against already embedded systemic bias against people of color, against LGBT people, against women. Instead, they think the natural order of things is like, of course our business is vast majority straight white men, even though they're not the majority of the population, because we're just the best at everything. So therefore, when you try and bring some sort of moderation into that system and make sure that there's some fairness being doled out to make sure that straight white, like, guys aren't being advantaged over others, they assume they're being disadvantaged because they think they're automatically better than other people. It's wild. Tea with Goblins says, the shitty comment about black people in Wales reminds me of this story that was floating around the internet a while back. A Muslim in a long veil is on the train speaking a non-English language to her kid. Middle-aged white lady snaps it that she needs to speak English. Another commuter cuts in, she's speaking Welsh. We're in Wales. Possibly apocryphal, still makes racists upset. Narnia Owl says, to be fair, it's not like any of these people have any idea how it would be like to be a diversity hire. Tube Man says, remember when this commercial broke the internet and the news? Is it the Razor one? Oh, the Cheerios commercial?
Yes, honey?
Dad told me that Cheerios is good for your heart. Is that true?
Heart healthy?
I don't remember this.
you have a certain shade of skin, and that's it. We just need to make the office look a little more diverse. So here's your paycheck.
Yeah,
Good
look
job.
at this. Check this out. We have this ad from Wales. It's a full ad. I don't know if we can play it. I don't know if there's even any sound. Let's go and let's listen to this high budget commercial from Wales. Oh yeah, you could be breathing COVID-19 on your friends, which is racist that the black guy is the one squirting out all the black dust. I feel like this is like satanic. And then the black guy's gone. Black people apparently aren't following the rules.
There's literally another black guy right there. They're really, really stretching to try and, like, make this a thing that it's not. Literally in the foreground, there's a black guy. What?
And then the black guy's gone. Black people apparently aren't following the rules. Stop COVID-19 hanging around. I don't know if this is like, they have an albino and a couple black people and like a lesbian up there. And
did he just assume someone was a lesbian based on zero information other than a picture?
And then you have like some feminist and they've, why did they?
What? What are you talking about? How are they gleaning any of this information from this photo? Does he think hoop earrings make you a lesbian? What is happening? Or is she the feminist? Are hoop earrings a feminist thing? Or are all albino people feminists? Are all albino people lesbians? I don't know what weird stereotype he's making.
Why did they choose an albino, first of all, for the white person? It's so bizarre.
I don't get what's going on here.
I don't know, this was just an ad in Wales.
What is happening? This is a real ad.
Yes, like the black people need to like get their shit together because they're spreading black soot onto people.
Well, that's
kind of racist.
That's kind of the way China was handling the black population in China when it first started coming around.
It makes me sad. I don't know, John. What do you think about this? I mean, we can move on. I just thought this was kind of a weird. Like, if you're gonna advertise in Wales, it was just a weird representation that Wales is a bunch of albino and black people and lesbians.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of
What are they talking about?
talking about this before we started recording. How everything that we're told in Black History Month is all about like Black history being this sort of element of oppression and slavery, all used to paint a picture of America as like an evil place. And so as you continue to see more black voices elevated, more things like that, that all goes just to serve that narrative, which is meant to usurp and uproot like the traditional American society. Because
John, what are you talking about? Black History Month is literally just a month to try and talk about black contributions to like society, because it's overlooked in many other places historically, like the classroom, in society in general. It's getting better, and I'm glad it's getting better, but nonetheless, it's something that historically, and even contemporarily, if you look at all the Republicans trying to rail against the teaching of, like, basic history in schools because they think it'll hurt their kids' fifis to find out about slavery, like, what is your issue? Why do you think this is a bad thing? Lily Love Stuff says, quick thing, don't say albino for people say person with albinism instead. Okay, apologies, didn't know.
if you subscribe to the myth of American history that is basically like, you know, this oppressive country and Martin Luther King, and he was just a brave guy speaking truth to power, and he liberated
History's more complicated than that, but yes, historically America has been a society in which the majority of the population has been oppressed in some way, shape, or form, whether we're talking about basically the only people having the right to vote are, like, white landowning Anglo-Saxon Protestant men, or, like, slavery itself, women not even having the right to vote until the early 1900s, not having the right to make sure they could go to work and live lives independently until, like, the middle of the 20th century. Like, John, this is not controversial. This is reality. I'm sorry reality makes you uncomfortable, and I'm not telling you to make some sort of broad moral judgment about it. It's just the truth.
black people. Now we're
Princess Amelia says, so this Welsh ad has black people and lesbians in it because they want to usurp traditional American culture despite Wales not being part of America. Nick says, F traditional American culture. I would tend to agree.
getting so close to achieving equality and equity and all those things. That basically concedes the point that America was founded upon white supremacy and racism and all these evil things, which would then justify all of the actions that they've been taking for the last 70 years. And so
TubeMan says the last 70 years. So that would be the 1950s. He thinks everything's been going downhill since the 1950s. TubeMan says, I'll never understand the myth that there aren't many black people in Europe. Black people have been in Europe just as long as they've been in America. I literally went to college with a black German man. Yeah.
So, no, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to actually concede that any white person has ever done anything particularly wrong as it pertains to race relations. I mean, anything that white people have done wrong, other races have done too. And we've actually done it less proportionately than they have, which is why I absolutely hate.
John, you're not willing to say that chattel slavery in America and elsewhere is bad? I'm not surprised. I am disappointed, though. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, so to recap, John Doyle thinks there aren't any straight white guys in ads, somehow, and he's mad that governments don't make decisions without thinking of black people, without thinking of if black people would like it. Is that where his anger is coming from? Seems like it.
Hate hearing conservatives talk about affirmative action's bad because the poor Asians, they just can't get into Harvard as easily, and it's like, neither can white people. Oh, this violence is bad. These poor Asians are getting beat up by black people, and the media doesn't want to talk about that. Bro, you don't want to talk about the fact that white people are getting beat up even more, actually. So, yeah.
No, it is true. You have an exact point. And I think, Sav, it is interesting because, like, it actually affects everybody, this whole intersectionality. Because, like, I was walking with Joe at the mall, and he was like, watch, we're going to walk by Victoria's Secret, and you used to, like, see a model or something, and it's probably going to be a fat black chick, bald black chick. And it was literally the model on the front. And
I'm glad I got out of that industry.
She was actually a fat Asian chick. I just walked by Victoria's Secret the other day, and that's who they're, using as models now, which makes me feel so represented as an Asian person and as a fat person.
There's not that many fat.
Then India Owl says, everything went to heck when America sided with the commies against the Third Reich, John Doyle. Morok says, I once had a coworker who said Black History Month was racist, actually, because it makes it seem like the only time to learn about Black History Month is the 1 month given. This guy also complained to HR when I came out as trans and said he doesn't like gay people in media. Something tells me his motive wasn't actually super altruistic. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but bigoted people argue in bad faith constantly. It's what they do.
Asian chicks, I feel like.
They literally found the one fat Asian and were like, model for us.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, don't you... I feel like it's weird, too, because the representation goes beyond just, like... That's what I'm saying, this black ideology. Like, they don't just find some hot black chick and are like, hey, we need to have a black chick. They find, like, some ugly, bald, non-binary, fat Asian black blend that looks like somebody put too many ingredients into the soup and didn't think about how it would taste. And then...
Holy shit.
Blend chick. They find this black ideology. Like, the representation... goes beyond just like, that's what I'm saying, this black ideology. Like, they don't just find some hot black chick and are like, hey, we need to have a black chick. They find like some ugly, bald, non-binary, fat Asian black blend that looks like somebody put too many ingredients into the soup and didn't think about how it would taste, and they put that at the front. I'm just saying, and it's like, it really ends up representing nobody.
Yeah.
Because who's, like you said, who's the fat Asian chick?
There's literally no fat Asians. They found the one fat Asian and they had her model. It's just, it's
Asians are
phenomenal,
afraid of
truly.
obese, isn't it? I mean, like, you're not that Asian, but like when
No,
I've been in Asia, they hate.
What do you even do with a claim as absurd as, quote, there are no fat Asians? I don't even know how to approach a claim as stupid as that. Because you don't just laugh at it, because it's like a fucked up comment for all sorts of reasons. But also it's like... It's so absurd, it broaches that, like, what the fuck level of your brain just hurts.
That
obese
Asian,
people.
I am that Asian because ever since I was like 12 years old, my mom was like, oh, you weigh 120 pounds? I weighed that when I was pregnant with you. And I was like, hey, Mom, you're 4'11", thanks. So I am that Asian. And Asian parents are very much like that. Like, if you're fat, they will tell you. If you're too skinny, they'll also tell you. So they're very much about, you know, making sure that you're a healthy weight.
Being healthy? Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
Unheard of, truly.
No, we need to talk about this. So speaking of that, the representation is, it's not just in skin color, but this idea that has been popularized by a young man in the room about this over-sexualization in Western culture, moving from the tits to the ass, right? So there's been this.
I don't know much about
adjustment.
this.
My moment. This is my moment.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk. I'm gonna get your take first.
Okay.
You can have your moment later.
Yeah.
But let's go to my screen. So the New York Post has discussed an issue here that we've begun to invent issues. And guys, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, don't forget this is an audio-only podcast. Don't forget to download it. But also remember that if you listen, you don't get you not only don't get to see some amazing things, but you get the blessing of not having to see what we're about to witness.
God.
So.
Speedy Yoshi says, you can be big and healthy. People have bigger frames and stomachs. My dad is really healthy and still has a gut. I mean, there is an ideal BMI range for people, but sure. I'm not saying you need to look like a model, but yeah, there's an obesity problem in the United States. Anti-Pretzel says, this guy is clearly offense bingo so fast, I think the card's on fire.
We've begun to invent problems, right? We complain about things. There are real issues. We have supply chain issues. We have inflation. We have a president who's not in office. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in his own world.
People in Western culture think they have problems.
Correct. We have a gay man named Pee-Pee Butt that takes paternity leave and takes shirtless pictures. Very strange people. Very bizarre time. It's very odd. Well, now, as we've moved to this culture of learning to represent women and accept obesity as beauty, which it will never be. Obesity will never be attractive unless you have a fetish for BBW, which is possible. Okay? There is a model with a supersized booty That's a nice way of saying obesity.
Yeah.
That can't find love, not because she's a raging bitch that looks like her face was filled up with helium in like a balloon and the fact that she's disgusting, but it's simply because the men in her life are afraid of her butt. And I swear this is not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a fillers thing. It looks like she had mad butt fillers.
Photoshopped. Damn. Wow. That is like, it looks like a potato. I want to peel that and chop it up and turn it into some fries. I swear, that looks like an actual potato.
Someone photoshopped Brian Stelter's face onto that.
Yeah, Savannah?
Bam.
Spitting image, spitting image.
H-Baird says, the president is currently in Europe building an alliance to hold back fascists. I can see why this guy is upset.
Okay, but I want to read this. This is really crazy.
It's probably also why they're talking about butts instead of anything, you know, relevant to what's going on in the real world.
The beauteous booty is budding in the way of romance. I gotta give a shout out to the New York Post for always having the best writers.
But at the same time, New York Post, come on. This is news?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They always have the best writers. They just say stuff like
news,
this.
Adam. Please understand, this is news in the modern day. In a country where we don't have
Seriously?
real problems, this is news. Actually.
Yeah, the Serbian
We have
Swedish woman,
problems.
the Serbian
This is not
Swedish
it.
woman with a supersized booty, and I gotta remind you, that is not supersized. That is literally like.
That's like decades of filler gone wrong.
I think there's something wrong here. Anyway, Natasha Crown, 27, has undergone 5 Brazilian butt lifts. See, I knew it.
See?
In a bid to have the biggest bum in the world, but the operations haven't helped her entice a long-term lover. My last relationship was 7 years ago, Crown candidly confessed in a recent Truly interview. I'm pretty extreme, so I think people are afraid of me. And so we've gotten to a point where, that was her originally. She looks like she's a pill girl. You know, the kind of girls that just like take pills casually. And they wonder why they have like problems, but it's like because you're literally on pills.
And then she stabs you when you're
Oh my!
sleeping.
Whoa!
That's the same person?
Yeah.
I think she injected the same things in her lips as her ass.
Whoa!
There's a lot going on here.
Can we get in? Can we get in this deeper? Can we get in?
No, let's not. Okay.
So, John, I'm going to keep this on the screen here for a second. And this is an interesting thing where this representation, right? They're saying we need to accept these types of people. But what we're finding out is diversity doesn't work out in real life. We're supposed to accept.
Look, this one woman has an addiction to getting unnecessary cosmetic surgeries. Therefore, our racism is justified. That's stupid.
That, you know, this is beauty. It's supposed to be considered attractive, where doctors allow this to happen. But in the real world, men don't want this. This is being.
Okay, first of all, it's not necessarily about what men are into. If she wants this, whatever, though I don't think she should get it at this point. Clearly she has some sort of like body dysmorphia issue she's trying to work through with like tons of surgeries that are not good. But either way, this has nothing to do with the general public. I think most people would look at this and go, oh no, she clearly like has had a bunch of surgeries on her butt and that's not good and she has some sort of issue. No one in society is telling you that you need to be attracted to this woman. No one in society reasonably is telling you to be attracted to any particular thing. I don't care what you're attracted to. It's so weird, though, that their argument is so bad that they have to go to this weird, obscure article about this woman who's abusing, like, cosmetic procedures to try and justify their weird, warped worldview. TubeMan says, I can sit here and listen to these racist assholes ramble about dumb bullshit, but I will not stand for the slander of fat asses. Tucker White says, we need to cleanse for this. Here's an infomercial parody.
Does having a...
Ugh, no cleanses. Not right now. We gotta get through this. Princess Amelia says, has anyone else noticed John gradually fading into the background as this goes on? His lack of charisma really seems to become an issue when he's on a show with other people. It is very weird. I don't know what... Again, I've said this before. I don't know what he's doing for money. He's on this show occasionally. He barely puts out content on his own channel. They stopped selling merch on his merch store, at least last time I checked. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Does he have a Patreon I'm unfamiliar with?
Rejected. And this is being pushed upon us that this is the world we want. I feel like this is a white woman trying to look like a different race.
It's just humiliation. I mean, everything that has been done in the popular culture in the
Rosalind Faye, thanks for 6 months.
last several decades has been to humiliate men in particular. And it's like, you go by
Imagine how, like, full of yourself you have to be to think everything that's happened in the last 5 decades is to embarrass me in particular. Everything's about me.
Victoria's Secret even, and you see like that fat model, and you're supposed to like look at that and be like, this is what beauty is. I mean, and that's what this.
John, you idiot. The mannequins in front of Victoria's Secret aren't for you to ogle, it's to entice customers in. So if you see a model in a Victoria's Secret window that you don't find attractive, you're not supposed to want to fuck the mannequins, John. Customers are supposed to look at the mannequins and go, oh, that kind of looks like my body type. Oh, that's what I would look like in that. Maybe I'll go in and try it on or buy it, you idiot.
It's like spiritual.
The store is still down. Good. I have a feeling it's just not public. I could be wrong, but my guess is that he's just selling his stuff directly to his fans on his Discord with links directly to it on a non-public page or something. I could be wrong, but I just think it's a way for him to continue to try and sell those neo-Gastonist, like, copyright infringement Disney shirts without it being public.
Leftist. It's a rejection of beauty because beauty is inherently right-wing. Because beauty is an acknowledgement of objectivity. It's an acknowledgement of hierarchy. Both things that are the quintessential tenets of like right-wing philosophy. Both of which the left rejects because they reject hierarchy in favor of equality, things like that. And so, yeah. But in terms of the race thing, it's like, I don't know. I got in some trouble for saying this. I think that the whole like pog thing, the whole like squatting thing, it's all just like a psyop in my opinion. Because if you look at like the traditional, actually, I think the best way to think of it would be to look at any form of media from the 20th century, and you look at the way that the young men were interacting. It was always like, bro, just someday I want to see a girl's boobs, man. Just like they had like a crumpled Polaroid photo of like one boob, and like they're all looking at it like under a rock or something, like hiding from. And that was like the thing, but no one talks about it anymore. Now it's like, oh, bro, this chick has a nice ass, she has a nice ass or whatever. And you look at like the standard of beauty in this country is now like this Kardashian-esque manufactured hourglass figure. And in my opinion,
I don't know anyone in real life who likes, like, that kind of beauty. Like, I don't know, maybe that's, like, certain forms of, like, media portray that, but not most of it. And most people don't conform to that beauty standard in their desires or in themselves. Nick says, objectivity is right-wing. Is he confusing it with objectivism? Rosalind Faye says, this guy hates sex workers. I would put money on it. He hates women in general. He doesn't want women to have the right to vote. He's explicitly said that. Bittergrin says, looks like there is a membership option on his website for a monthly fee. People are probably paying for that. Stonecore Bell says, beauty standards change all the time. There can be no such thing as objective beauty. Beauty is different across all cultures. It changes year to year, decade to decade. This is ridiculous. Yeah, historically, larger people were considered attractive in some places and times because it was a sign of, like, affluence. It just changes depending on the cultural context. Meek says, remember that for many years China thought that foot binding was sexy and China had the biggest population in the world. I guess foot binding was objectively sexy.
That's just kind of like a primitive taste because it's like, you look at white women, traditionally they're like a more slim frame. And this is why, what do they call it? Like a bubble butt, right? Like white girls will be skinny, but they still have like a nice butt. And it's like, I'm not
Archangel, thanks for 17 months.
Saying that that's not like attractive. But it's like you look at these girls now and they're trying to achieve that hourglass figure. So they're getting like butt lifts.
Unnatural.
They're spending all this time at the gym squatting. And it's like, the virtue of having a nice butt is like being endowed by your mother, right? Like having a good, fat distribution. Not like, oh, I squatted at the gym and now like I'm stronger than you. But it like looks this way in leggings. And so I think that it's trying to reorient the sexual interests of white men in particular towards women who are not of their own race. And white women aren't doing themselves any favors either because they're, doing their whole thing right now. But now...
Did he unironically just say society is being psyoped into liking big butts because they want to promote, quote, miscegenation or some other racist shit? Holy hell. Lily Lovestuff says, an hourglass figure has been the standard for most of history. He fetishizes the 1950s and women wore corsets and girdles and did tons of uppers to have that figure. Shut up, John. Thrashmeo says, boob guys are superior and butt guys are inferior. He's even making TNA fascist.
Now, like, guys are looking at, like, Hispanic girls, they're looking at, like, black girls, and now you've got girls like this, and so I just think it's
unnatural. Well, that's the point. It's like, this is not her natural butt, right?
Yeah.
So it's this, like, push of, like, it is, because as they go, like, these are the features that are more predominant. You even have this issue with, like, even with people trying to look darker, et cetera, or try to be hood. You see a lot of white girls, like, that try to act like they're all tough and hard in the media, and, like, they act in a way that just doesn't... It's unbecoming. It's not even natural. They force this look, and that's what I'm saying. Is these forced beauty standards that I feel like is very unhealthy, where women specifically are felt like they need this giant butt, these perfect breasts, and all this stuff. When it's like Really, some cultures, some people are just small. Some Asians are really, really petite. Some white ethnicities and different cultures, they're just smaller. But our culture's like glorified. It's like rap, wop, wet ass, big ass, titties flinging around type of look. And these girls like this are saying, well, I'm gonna emulate that. And in reality, I don't know who would want that.
You know what this is? This is a lack of confidence, and confidence is attractive. Like you were saying, you had.
Again, I want to point out they are pointing at this woman who is so outside of the norm that she had an article in a newspaper written about her and trying to apply that to the norm. Bad argument. Nandia Owl says, in fact, fat women used to be considered attractive a few centuries ago because it was seen as a sign of wealth. I said that like 5 minutes ago. Nick says, just say you like women who look like little girls, Eli. You don't like censoring yourself. He's one of those people on Twitter arguing that Lolly is not, Jesus.
That post earlier, we were talking about having thin skin versus having thick skin. Like, if you don't care what other people think and you're confident, people, that in itself is attractive. That is not authentic.
John doesn't even want women to be able to vote. I don't think he wants a confident partner. Hydrate.
That is basically screaming to the world, I'm not confident with who I am. I'm going to change who I am to try to emulate what I'm told is what is in right now. What is the attractive bar is having weird balloon lips and a potato butt. Yeah, whatever
she's
is.
She's a potato. She also, like, I think her and I
that
have
looks
the
like
same
a man
eyebrow person.
She looks like a man tried to be a woman.
It looks like a transgender.
It does.
I'm halfway there, so we're on a good road.
Well, you got the eyebrows.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm halfway there, but it's me. I'm already trying to emulate black culture. Look, call me brother.
One more
brother
thing I will
Eli.
say on that, actually, that I think is really important to note, is it's like, I remember I would be in high school and guys would be talking about, locker room talk, and they would be talking about like anal sex. And they'd be like, what, you don't think that's like hot, bro? And it's like, no, why what are you talking about? And then when I was doing my research for the anti-pornography dissertation, I find research that shows that like, I think it's a super majority of men who express interest in that because it was shown to them in pornography. Not that they sought it out, this looks interesting, that it was shown to them. And then they're like, oh, I guess I'm into this now. And it's like, I find something very spiritually disturbing about all of a sudden a generation of young men being like psychologically manipulated through tech.
I find something very spiritually disturbing about anal. Can we get an emote that says spiritually disturbing? With like a John Doyle face? Spiritually disturbing? You don't put that in that hole! Stone Corbell says people have done anal since they've had anuses. It's not new, John. Does John Doyle think anal sex was invented in the 20th century? Oh, John.
Technology into wanting to like put their dicks into girls' butts. Like, that's sodomy.
Nick says if they saw it in porn, tried it and liked it, and their partner did as well, how is that a bad thing, John?
That is satanic. That is a perversion. That is...
'Cause it's satanic, clearly. Putting it in the pooper is just as good as worshiping a goat to Lucifer or sacrificing a goat to him, okay? Astrofox says ancient Greece would like a word with Doyle.
Taking the act that is, a man putting himself into a woman, it's a self-lubricating organ to create life, and then you have now a man doing that with like the part of the body that like expels waste. That's disgusting. And this is like what we're normalized now. It's like, no, bro, that's like hot, bro. You're the
John, if you don't want to do anal, that's great. I'm happy for you. No one should ever feel coerced into any sort of sexual act that they do not find appealing or something that they want to do. That's fine. It's totally fine.
Weird one. It's like, no, you should be shot. You should be shut down. You should be shut down on social media for
shut
that.
down. Repeat. Shut down.
You should be
That's
shut
what he
down.
said. Shut down. I don't like how you pointed at me when you did.
Yeah.
No, not you.
Hey,
not you.
Randy Owl says, spiritually disturbing does sound like a much better intro catchphrase for John Doyle than heck off, commie. And Nick says, John doesn't wipe his ass confirmed.
When people are into anal sex.
Stop pointing at me. I don't like this.
When people are like that.
Pointing at you guys now. No, you.
Every single time I come on this show.
When people are into anal sex, I'm not saying who. She took herself off the screen.
What is this?
Adam, this happens to me at least once per show, where Elijah will like be talking about sucking dick and then pitch to me, and I'm like, no.
Whoa.
Stop.
Tucker Waite says, John, penises and vaginas expel waste too. Also, and no, it's not Family Guy clip. Oh, God. Oh my. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I remember when Milo, what's-his-name, was talking about how much cooler conservatives were than they were in the 90s. This isn't the Family Values Party. This isn't the Puritanical Party anymore. L-O fucking L.
Like, Savannah, you understand, and she'll be like,
You suck dick, so I mean...
Bitch, what?
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. No, but you're saying that, but this is the change in the culture, right? The rapid degradation of erasing history and then being able to replace it with whatever they want in the present. Like, this is the important part, is when you remove the sustainability of like what a natural sexual desire is, what a normal sexuality is.
What's a natural sexual desire? If your brain goes, you don't think a cave person was like, I'm gonna stick stuff in that hole and then stuck it in a butt? Really? I guarantee that was happening.
Even the phrase normal today is considered offensive because there's no normal.
Like, where do they think the concept of anal sex even came from? Do they think Satan literally came to Earth one day and was like, stick it in the ass? And someone was like, oh, I never thought of that. What?
The normal we hear about today is the new normal, which is whatever the hell people invent that are in power today on anything from gender to sexuality.
We all know that the President of the United States invented anal in the year of our Lord, 1967. H. Baird says natural sexual desires equal missionary to these people.
To climate change, to COVID mandates or whatever, the normal is new every single day, except for the fact that we're not in control of it. And sadly enough, like you mentioned,
oh no, your position is like a not popular one, so it's not prevailing in society. That must be a psyop and not that your opinions are dog shit. Anti-Pretzel says, you joke, but that's actually how they think it happened. Speak the Truth says, people have effed nearly every vaguely hole-shaped object since the beginning of time. Animals F the same sex, John. Salium says, that's what the apple of knowledge really was, the knowledge of anal. Head canon accepted.
Like, whether or not people disagree with your take on anal sex or whatever, it doesn't really matter. There's a truth to this that no one can disagree with, which would be the fact that this is probably a new, not probably, but it is a new or an emerging...
Baron Sexius Anal invented anal sex in 1358 France. Of course it was France.
Fetish or interest or something, and it probably and most likely is related to pornography, meaning it's not just like people are creating things and we can opt out. It is genuinely affecting our world. And one of those things, like you said, with the lack of confidence, is grown adults who can't even figure out who they are.
Right.
And they've distracted and disillusioned people to not even be able to think about the changing of the world.
Overthought says, even celibacy failed once. Do anal. Nick says, it's not real anal unless it comes from the anal region of France. Then it's just sparkling butt fucking.
How rapidly things are degrading because people can't even get control of their own minds. And this is video 6. There's this grown adult woman.
It's not anal, it's sparkling sodomy.
Who has a meltdown.
It's the better joke.
Down over being misgendered. And this is a grown woman.
You're freaking out over literally one article about someone with bad butt lifts. You've been talking about it for like 20 minutes. And you got triggered over like yogurt commercials. What are you guys doing?
Let's go, let's watch this.
I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time. She misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change. And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up...
This is really sad. I'm not going to watch this person's thing because it's just going to be super depressing and they're going to make fun of it.
About first leaf, obviously, every time you drink, do it responsibly. And sometimes you might have your special first occasions, right? A nice date. Maybe you just had Valentine's Day. And, you know, wine can be romantic. Sometimes it can even be great when you're using it in communion. Or for perhaps you don't like to drink, but guests do come over and you essentially... But it's not the way them with the gender of the they, them. As an autistic person, I have to overanalyze this autistically in a way of talking about this. If only there was an autistic person in the room.
Can we get a sparkling sodomy shirt? Nick says, add first leaf to the do not buy list.
I would say that the ultimate thing is that this is what someone cares about, right? I mean, there's the satanic-y part of the multi-layered gender of the they, them pronouns.
That's a mouthful of nonsense. Tucker White says, let's be honest, these guys probably consider, quote, natural sex when Thag grabs his club, find woman, and go, you pretty, bonk, now we make bone.
That this boss crew, like...
Is this clip safe to play? Well, I'm not going to play it if I don't know.
It's just work. Like, I just want you to work. Just...
Okay, then stop misgendering your fucking coworker. That's not hard.
Can we not? Can we not talk about pronouns? Can you just can you just make the latte for the customer?
Yeah, I mean, those kind of people, they need to feel special. They need others to validate them because they...
You're literally using the pronoun they right now, to be clear.
They have no idea how to do it themselves. They're not confident.
It's a little bit...
I'm skipping this whole segment because I'm not dealing with that shit.
Dad will enter hospice tomorrow. I'm glad I was able to come out to him last year.
Oof. Nah, I'm skipping all the transphobic shit. I don't need that in my life today.
Pennsylvania High School.
Yeah,
Allegheny?
Allegheny in Wexford, Pennsylvania. These high schoolers, which I will remind you, apparently they're minors, so I am, you know, high schoolers do dumb things, but the dumb things that high schoolers did when I was younger was like slap girls' butts or like throw wet toilet paper wads over into the stall. It wasn't really planned out. Most of the time it was just us acting retarded. Nothing's really changed. We just have money now and we're retarded, which is totally makes it more fun. But then they have the police and, you know, real litigations and stuff, so that sucks. Can't go around slapping ass anymore.
Why can't I harass women anymore?
But I will say this is now what kids are up to in terms of pranking. These are high school students, and it's the video they uploaded to TikTok, which currently only has 169 likes, and the school hasn't taken any action on it, so we'd like to bring it to the public's eyes. Let's watch this. So they're taking the school's curriculum into their own hands. Just to remind you, we might want to turn that down because of copyright. Keep it low. So they're taking basically any books that were written about capitalism, colonization,
written by white men,
that were written by white men, and religious books, specifically Christianity. They didn't seem to take anything from Islam or anything like that. And
Lily Love Stuff says, oh my god, someone being harassed for their gender isn't them being thin-skinned, but you guys crying about not enough white cishet men in commercials is because is being tough and strong.
They threw all the books away. They cleared out their school library and tossed all of the books in the trash. I hope someone screenshot these faces and turn these into the school. Hopefully we can get these videos sent into their school. Again, remember that
I thought they hated cancel culture. Wait a minute.
These are minors, so please do not harass, dox, or do anything besides perhaps just emailing the school and sending images of these kids to the school itself. That's probably the furthest action you should take with minors. So hopefully their parents find out about this.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, I just want to say, but I'm saying like that is not the pranks that we did when we were younger. We did not take colonization books and throw them away. That's very ideological.
Not really a prank.
A prank?
Why couldn't it be back in our day when we would harass women by slapping them on the butt? Astro Fox says, oh nice, this was a fun thing rather than a shitty thing that people in my state did. Hernandy Owl says, look at the white supremacists pretending to care about books. Let me see if they get into anything else for the rest of the video or if we can move on.
Jealous in a way of like the Christians in the Middle East who like get their heads chopped off by like Muslims and stuff. Because like
you have a weird brain.
What is going on?
He's like,
right
you know
now?
what? I just want to be shot by Antifa and just I really identify with people that are beheaded.
I don't identify with them. I'm
He's
almost
jealous of them. He said.
I think that's a much more.
He has a victim complex. He understands that he's not actually a victim, but he wants to feel like one in order to justify his terrible, terrible beliefs.
Almost jealous.
One more TikTok and you will be too.
It's a much more pious and respectable form of Christianity. I mean, you go to church now, even like, you know, some of the church denominations who are supposed to be like more, I want to say based, but just more authentic, I should say. Even their homilies are based on like tolerance and love and acceptance, and it's just like so gay. Like I miss mask. I mean, I never really had it, and I don't think anyone has in this country unless you're going to like TLM or maybe East Orthodox masses. But it's like, there's no like authentic. Like Matt Walsh had a really good opening chapter in a book, Church of Cowards, talking about like if, you know, the Muslims did invade and George Bush was right, and they'd be looking for Christians to martyr, and they couldn't find any because you've got like lesbian pastors, you've got them saying that like, oh yeah, Jesus did say, I guess, that you're not supposed to sleep with men, but he also said you have to be tolerant, so I guess it's okay and stuff like that. It's just like, I would just wish that there were more Christians in this country who were worthy of being martyred, if that makes sense. Like they were actually practicing.
That's a take.
Their faith.
And also, yes, citing Matt Walsh, that's a paddling.
Such a degree that like they would want to be, Muslims would want to be like killing them and chopping their heads off. But
no one has the backbone for that.
Yeah.
You know what? Bryson Gray.
Bryson Gray, I love Bryson Gray. He would, yeah.
Bryson Gray will
and
stand firm on his.
He wouldn't flinch.
He wouldn't. No. Shout out to Bryson.
No.
Zuby?
I've never met, but I mean, I take your word for it.
I don't know.
Won't even say
Zuby doesn't. I don't
show.
think he talks much about his faith, or at least I haven't seen it. But Bryson obviously is very outspoken.
I have. Zuby. I know Zuby pretty well. I like him a lot. He's pretty outspoken. I would
Zuby's
say.
Great.
And like also sometimes too by his example, like the way that he lives, he really is like has a really strong moral character.
True.
So like, and he's like really, really like holds himself to a high standard.
But I feel like he targets that side of the human mind, instead of like the religious side.
Yeah, where Bryson's just like. I love Bryson. One time I ran into him on a bridge in Tampa.
We're gonna do a song together, me and Bryson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh no! That's gonna be bad. Nernindia Owl says, nobody tell them about the Westboro Baptist Church. Tucker White says, translation, I wish more people would peddle my Bronze Age fairy tale.
Bryson, we should do a song
rap in
together.
a song?
Yeah, bro, I'm a rapper.
No,
wait.
I know.
So you do know rap? Ha ha!
You learned about it
okay.
before.
I was doing a bit. I was doing a bit.
Did you see this? I found this picture of Eminem from the Super Bowl. I forgot to bring this up.
I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but my goodness, I'm hearing all the shit about it.
This is Eminem.
H. Baird says, according to the New Testament, Jesus' earth father, Joseph, was the product of a gay marriage. If you look up the genealogies in Matthew and Luke, you find out he had two dads, Jacob and Heli. I think that just has to do with the fact that the genealogies are inconsistent. Tea with Goblins says, St. Sebastian was filled with arrows. St. Catherine was broken on the wheel. St. Lucy tore out her own eyes. St. Peter was crucified upside down. You have so many options to make a martyr of yourself, John. Kit Kraken.
I'm from the Super Bowl right here, and I wrote that I said that I am. That was him kneeling down, right? Really fighting the system.
Did he really?
Yeah, he kneeled down on it, but I made sure I put, I'm proudly part of the corporate-sponsored resistance. Are you? Because that's really what this is all about. Is like, I feel like people are being given a fake religion of humanism, and it's erasing the Western.
Humanism isn't a religion. It's a philosophy, I guess.
Society we built, not only on logic and understanding, but also specifically on the value and the merit of morality, and we're replacing it with this sort of like corporatism that.
Wait, why do you think humanism is corporatism? I would argue humanism is directly in conflict with the ethos of corporate America the vast majority of the time. The only reason corporations ever say anything vaguely neutral to nice about minority groups is because they think it'll make them look better in the eyes of consumers. They are reflecting the majority opinion of consumers, not the other way around.
It has no respect for anything besides profits. And what brings profits now, apparently, is being as woke as possible.
Yeah, because most people aren't assholes and are like, yeah, we should probably look into the police disproportionately killing people of color, and we should make sure that LGBT people have rights, and just, you know, not being assholes. That sells. Most people don't like people like this.
As being as open to whatever you possibly can. And I love how, like, Eminem kneeling at the Super Bowl is considered like rebellion, like supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, while like Trudeau in Canada is literally saying like, yeah, I marched with BLM, but I don't support the trucker convoy because I'm.
Tucker White says, and notice how most of those companies tell gay people to fuck off when June ends. When you piss off TERFs, also fuck TERFs, or when states like Texas go full fascist on trans people and the Democrats refuse to do shit about it. Yeah.
I support people who fight for freedom, getting the Emergency Act put in place, essentially enacting martial law, and becoming a dictator, a tyrant, etc. That's BLM, and then Eminem's like on stage like, yeah, I'm rebelling, and I'm standing with BLM even though I'm told I'm not to. And it's like, that's your example of what a rebel is. The guy who told you that you don't deserve to live if you don't get vaccinated. Like, what a...
I think that he does that because he feels guilty. And like
Why?
his whole, I think he feels guilty because, not guilty, but I think he wants to just keep, you know, tensions low because he is, I think, if I'm correct, the best-selling rap artist in history, and he's like a white guy. And so
Well, he also made a lot of songs about hating gay people and killing them and stuff too.
and killing his ex-wife, which is why you can't really hate on Eminem. I mean, this is the guy who normalized white rage in the early 2000s, so he might be cringe now, but like this guy, he walked so we could run. You know, he dug the riverbeds for us to be threats to democracy now. So I can't throw him under the bus for that. But I mean, I think that's what it's always been. I mean, his whole thing, whether you see in 8 Mile, which is inspired by kind of his upbringing, or even in his lyrics, he'll always talk about how. He knows that there's tension because he's a white rapper and he's doing it better than everybody else, and they think that he's kind of like co-opting their culture. But I'm actually surprised with how much respect other artists like extend.
Seriously, why is John holding a hatchet? Is this like a comfort thing to him? Like, is there some psychological thing where like holding phallic objects is some sort of comfort to insecure dudes? I genuinely don't know. It's just super fucking weird to me. Tea with Goblin says, wait until they go to the pearly gates and find out that Jesus was a poor Middle Eastern Jew who advocated for forgiveness, compassion, and humility.
Extend to him, and that does kind of make me happy because he really is a talented rapper. Not recently so much. His last good album, in my opinion, was MMLP2. Out there, big Eminem face from Detroit. White kid.
John Doyle is from a wealthy suburb of Detroit, to be clear. He likes to pretend like, I'm from Detroit. And it's like, you grew up in a wealthy fucking neighborhood. Shut the fuck up, John.
You have to go through a rap phase when you're a white kid. But, yeah.
You don't even have the hat on today.
I know, I forgot to dress
He's
up
wearing the gangster hat.
That's a gangster hat?
No, this is from Drunk 3PO.
What's
it's
that
like the most far from a gangster as possible.
The Rebellion?
Yeah. This is Gina Carano got fired, and Drunk 3PO started the Welcome to the Rebellion. What's up, Jay? I don't know if you.
Gina Carano ruined her own career. What a rebel.
No, but
really great guy.
It's a good segue though in the terms of the rebellion.
Tucker White says, given a lot of these cringe takes I hear these days about de gays and or de trans, what are the chances I'd find similar cringe takes about black people at the height of the civil rights movement? I'm sure you would. Like, you find them now. We're watching this show, and they're being racist as shit, too. Hydrate.
It's so funny that it's
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, maybe it's like Steven Crowder with his gun bra to normalize responsible hatchet use. Hydrate.
Throwing away the books, like Eminem kneeling.
They think they're in the rebellion.
Yeah, like, dude,
you're in the Empire.
Yeah, you're literally. It's like.
Yes, the Empire, very famous in canon for being tolerant and wanting to make sure that there isn't overuse of force. Norlandia Owl says, for a second I thought he was going to call John Doyle out for not wearing the Trump hat anymore.
Like, dude, yeah, it's like, I know, but it's like, look what I'm doing. Like, I destroyed a planet because it's like rebellion. It's like, no, that's literally what destroying the planet is what the Empire wants.
Right. Eminem destroyed a planet by kneeling.
Confused here, buddy. You're doing the exact opposite of what you think
you're
doing.
the baddies.
You guys aren't Empire pilled?
No, Empire's fine. Don't bring me into your lore. Okay, I don't want to go there.
Jedi leading a religious coup against a strong and
but
stable
they were virgins.
authority.
But they were virgins. So I thought they were the ones that were promoting stoicism and they were promoting this idea of chastity. So I'm confused because I don't know which side you would be on.
Well,
they were the order of chaste men that wanted to fight for. They wanted to fight. Now I'm not Empire pilled, but I would say. Is the Empire promoting purity?
The only reason I side with probably not. But the only reason I side with the Empire is because I look.
Because you're fascist and they're literally based on Nazis. That's gonna be my guess. Fun fact: on John Doyle's Discord before the original one got taken down, his mods were called Stormtroopers. Guessing that wasn't a Star Wars reference.
Look at the left, and they've got these resistance bumper stickers, and they're like a woman's place is in the resistance with like Princess Leia. And I think George Lucas even came out recently and said that he wrote Star Wars to be like an allegory for like liberalism. And you look at all of these stories that we have, whether it's Star Wars or Hunger Games, these things that we watch when we're young. And it's kind of like incepting into your mind this idea of like the state is always the bad guy, and you always just have to fight the tyranny. And then it's like now they have free reign to define like what that tyranny is, and they define tyranny and fascism as all the same thing, and it is whatever poses a threat to the actual tyranny and to the actual system, which is why the truckers, working class guys who have probably no conception of modern politics, they just know that like they just don't want to put things into themselves because the state says so. Now they're fascists, and the working class has become like the
they're dumb assholes, and I'm glad they got told to fuck off.
Eggs for fascism under the I guess, narratives of these people.
No, it is weird. And guys, obviously, things are unstable, and specifically investments. Inflation's at an all-time high, and you got to make sure that you diversify your portfolio. Right?
Is this going to be gold? Is this going to be a gold
You
ad?
know about crypto, you know about having cash, you know about your investment.
Oh, it
banking,
says
but what
gold
about
at the bottom.
Actually
It's for
investing
gold.
in precious metals, like from Birch Gold. Right now, thanks to a little-known section of the IRS tax code, you can legally move your IRA or 401k into precious metals with no tax implications or penalties. If you want to get started and you want to find out how to invest your money in something that actually lasts, gold has been around forever, so is silver and these precious metals. And
Tucker White says it was an allegory of Vietnam and American imperialism, which makes me wonder what aspect of American imperialism midichlorians represent.
they will be around for as long as time is allowed. To get started
Inflation is not at an all-time high. It was higher in the early 80s. Good to know.
on protecting your savings with gold in a tax-sheltered account, request a free info.
Okay,
your IRA
I'm moving past the
things
gold
expensive on
scam
gold.
ad.
It is interesting with this diversity and what's going on here is that people have actually been I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the screen of the horrified dad. I just have to go back to that. I can't stop looking.
What's the next topic?
Is that basically everything that is on the screen that is being given to you is probably wrong. And ask yourself the question, what are you not seeing on your screen? What has been told to you is evil? What has been told to you is wrong? What has been told to you is destructive? It's probably closer to what's right. And becoming what...
Just so you know, one of the things cults do is tell you that all information you receive outside of the cult is untrue. That's literally how they brainwash you. One of the ways.
the world thinks is evil is probably coming a lot closer to what actually might make you good. And
Ah, yes. Everyone else thinks I'm an evil fascist. That must mean I'm really a good guy.
of course, no man is
Brilliant.
good, no, not one. Not only do you need God to change you and to transform you, but of course, in this world, there is a way that we should live and a way we ought not to be.
Baha, if you're listening and you want to do that tea now, I would take it. Any kind, whatever flavor.
And the way that's been prescribed to us, like the medications that are numbing our minds and our hearts, are actually deadening our souls and our spirits. And maybe, just maybe, the people that you've been told are the bad guys are a lot closer to the truth than we are today.
No, actually. Fascism and racism are bad, actually. Fun fact.
My guest today, Adam Krigler. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you on your amazing show, which is live every day, correct? Almost every day.
Well, when YouTube isn't giving me strikes,
Okay.
yes.
Where can they follow you?
You can follow me at The Krigler Show on YouTube. I am branching out onto Rumble. I'm also on Odyssey. And you can find me on Locals, Twitter, Instagram, all of the places. Adam Krigler, very easy, just my full name. And or The Krigler Show, which is my show. And then you can also get Krigler coffee, which is the freshest coffee that you can buy.
Heck yes.
It's, you've tried it.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
the best coffee. Make sure you support Adam, support his show. It's so good. It's so fresh, just like...
Tube Man says, screw the stormtroopers. They're a bunch of randos who can't shoot straight. It's all about the Republic clone troopers. They're the real Chads. Captain Rex for life. Tucker Waite says, ah, yes, nothing cleanses the soul like worshipping a psychopathic super Nazi like Yahweh.
Coffee, fresh in the morning. The good beans, the good beans. And they're not the ones that make you toot. They're the ones that wake you the up.
But I want to add something before we move on. You said the empire is like, it's kind of like the patriarchy, right? If you like how we've been talking throughout the whole episode, how do we find a balance, right? Because isn't that really what we should have, a balance between the matriarchy and the patriarchy?
I'd prefer the patriarchy.
I know you prefer it, but we have to think all humans are different, right?
John Doyle literally doesn't want women to have the right to vote.
And we have to
he has said this.
Understand humans are going to just be different. There's always going to be racists. There's always going to be people that are prejudiced against others because they're different and they won't.
3 of them are sitting in that room. Andy Pretzel says, this John Doyle episode brought to you by Bro Moment. Bro Moment, for when something is so fucked, you do not have any other possible words to say. H-Baird says, so they're racist for an hour, but they bleep out swears? Yes.
Except being integrated, right? That's just going to be a reality. So can we figure out a balance between the two, between being smothered by mothers, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, or being, controlled by fathers? You know what I mean? Can we have a balance that will lead us into, a future that we're not always killing each other? we're trying to control each other. Is it possible?
I don't think God designed the world that way.
Well, as a conservative, I want to go back to even how this country was 100 years ago. And, you know, Edmund Burke wrote about this in Reflection on the Revolution in France, which, of course, is where we get right and left from. And it was the revolution that unseated the monarchy. And that's what a lot of leftists call back to with their whole, like, guillotine fetishizing and things like that. And I think that we've been sold a very false dichotomy of how political power works. You know, we either have individualism or we have collectivism. We either have like freedom or we either have tyranny. And I think that liberalism as it exists and how it's devolved into leftism in this country, or even how a lot of conservatives are really liberals and they just don't know it. And it's like liberalism has ignored one of the basic truths, which is that man is a political animal. I mean, Aristotle said this. And as a result, all of the governments that have arisen from, you know, countries that were rooted in this liberal philosophy have created some of the greatest tyrannies that the world has ever seen. Like, look at the West right now. We are living under tyranny. It's objective, and it's...
What tyranny are you living under, John, specifically? What specifically?
Greater than any tyranny that we've ever seen in the history of the planet.
Chattel slavery. Dislocation of indigenous people. I'm just talking about the U.S. here. Like, immigrants coming into the United States, Irish immigrants and other immigrants not being able to get jobs. No? You think right now you're the most put upon in history?
Except for a few examples in the 20th century. So I think that if we return to a state where we had organic unity, not collectivism, but unity, that is the only method by which we can actually resist a collectivist state. Because when you have individualism, which is what we've been preaching in this country for the last 100 years, you can actually isolate people to where they're autonomous.
Spare Keys says, here's bits for suffering through this. I've been lurking with this muted, just occasionally looking at the page in chat. I can't stand listening to these garbage people, and I almost can't believe how such garbage people like these actually exist.
We've got the melting pot. There is no language, no religion, no culture, anything. Everyone's just an individual, and we're all consumers. The only thing we have in common is that we have nothing in common. And then society starts to destabilize, and then the state has to come in to usher in that stability, or else the country's just going to collapse. But if they tried to usher in anything approximating the current level of tyranny now, or even half that, in the 1940s, it would never have worked because you...
Like, what tyranny? I don't even know what he's talking about.
Had organic...
Like, in terms of the state? Obviously, I have problems with America's economic systems and, like, workers' rights and stuff, but, like, what is he talking about in terms of the state imposing tyranny upon him? Tucker White says, let's see, 100 years ago, Jim Crow was at its peak, alcohol was outlawed, and we were running head-on towards an economic depression, so yeah, aside from Art Deco and bootlegging, what the F was great about the 20s? Flappers. Meek says, I remember when we had organic unity in the 50s, when John would have been considered a dirty... I'm not gonna say that.
Like unity through the communities and through the churches and things like that, and we just don't have this...
Tea with Goblin says, stares and sociologist, I am so tired.
In the country anymore, which is why we're so susceptible to that tyranny.
Been replaced by the internet.
Yeah.
Right? The internet is disastrous for humanity.
It's true. He's
they say on a YouTube channel.
Ted-pilled.
What?
Yeah.
Ted-pilled?
Yeah, Kaczynski.
There's so many. There's a...
See, I'm too online. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, and this guy is not online.
I am too, though.
This guy's not online enough. He, on my screen here, Savannah.
Oh, goodness.
He apparently, he realizes, I was just going to say, I think that the matriarch and patriarch balance, to me, is purely not even just intellectual, it's spiritual, that I believe that women living outside their roles is part of the same problem of men not living within their roles as well.
Gross.
Men trying to accommodate and create a dualistic leadership with men and women is antithetical to both the male prospect and also the female design. So
there is no biological anything that dictates leadership roles in society. Princess Amelia says, if the American government attempted this sort of tyranny back in the 40s, cough, Japanese internment camps, cough. Yeah.
And you can't really blame women for this because really it was men who technically voted on some of these things per se, and also a small group of elites who have been behind a lot of this stuff. Very interesting group of people out there. But I think fundamentally women in leadership is a sign of judgment and of a failing country because I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that. The Bible talks about that too, that the sign of like a judgment on a nation or on an empire is a strong female leadership. Like
I don't care what the Bible says. We don't live in a theocracy.
There's literally an allusion to that. And the times when there was judgment on the Israelites and they were weak was when they needed women leaders to lead them, because that's not a slant on women. That's also a jive on men too, for saying that why women think that their roles are to be leaders is one thing that is confusing, and why men don't believe that they're supposed to be the leaders and supposed to be leading women is another. And those are rudimentary, both philosophical and I would say moral arguments that people have largely abandoned, which is the argument for a Christian country or for a universalized religious movement, is because in order to run a country this way, you have to believe that is true to some extent and be
the First Amendment and the separation of church and state. What are those?
Besides a moral authority, what would keep us to that? But, why would we not progress away from that? Because if there's no authority telling you that that's true, it's in the heart of humans to be independent and to go against their design.
And you wonder why the most depressed demographic in the country are like middle-aged women, and it's because what they're doing is satanic. I mean, God said that man is to toil in the fields, women is to bear the...
Everything I don't like is satanic, a child's guide to political discourse.
Children, like that was our respective punishment or debt, so to speak, and now women are trying to do both. I mean, they're trying to, work, and they're trying to have kids, and
men too. They're trying to like be the mom and the dad.
Yeah, and dads are like totally domesticated, totally effeminate, which makes the wives resent them even more. And there's a lot of divorce statistics on this, and so
yeah, actually,
divorce has steadily been going down. I think since like the 70s or 80s.
I was gonna say this randomly. The best advice I got from someone much older than me who was a guest here, he was like, I was like, hey, any like long-term marriage advice? And he was like, the more that you act like a man and let the woman be the woman, the more stable your family will be when you don't try to capitulate to one another and realize there will always just be innate differences and disagreements and problems on the basis of sex alone, let alone on the expression of it, but understanding the fact that like sometimes a woman will forgive you for acting like a man if you give her the opportunity to live like a woman. And when you live in those defined roles and that understanding, there's a lot of patience with one another.
Tea with Goblin says, yes, John, you are too online. Log off, pick up your laptop, and take it deep into the heart of the forest. Bury your laptop and then yourself in a bog. Surrender to the dark, murky waters and the old gods that live within them that are nourished by the dying embers of the ephemeral human empires. And India Owl says, I don't see any of these three men tilling any fields either. True.
Another, because you're like, well, I don't understand that aspect, but you're doing your duties as a woman, and you don't understand aspects of me, but I'm doing my duties as a man, and we complement each other, and we're not trying to be egalitarian. And I don't believe that a society can sustain this worldview in the modern era without...
Followed by a clown pill.
Okay, all right, I'm back on board.
Okay, so the black pill is
beheading, because I don't get on board on
No. That's a white pill. The black pill is that historically speaking, this is literally a fact. No great society has ever survived the sexual liberation of women.
Correct.
Feminism, broadly speaking.
I do know that.
You can see this in Europe in the 1500s, throughout the Arab world. This is like just a fact. And we had ours in the 1950s and 60s. So, maybe we can reverse the decline.
No society has ever survived the invention of the internet. No society has survived the invention of the airplane. Like, do you see the problem with these things? I don't think there's been many large societies like the United States that have existed in history that have reached the level of like gender parity that we have right now in terms of at least like de jure rights, if not de facto rights, based on our systemic issues present in society. Like, no society has ever lasted forever, period. The idea that it's caused by women getting rights is ridiculous.
Either way, we're going to make history. I guess this is the white pill, before the clown pill. The white pill would be either we're going to be the first great society in the history of the world to reverse our decline, or we will ascend from the ashes like the phoenix and we will build something greater in its place. And then the clown pill would be, that just means that we're right about women. So that's funny.
So are we in the weak men?
Oh, absolutely.
Right now?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we're in hard times.
Well, no, I think we're going from the weak men into the hard times.
Yeah, this is still not hard times.
We're not in the hard times.
I can still buy coffee. This is not hard times.
Exactly. We're
Tube Man says, no one who's ever drank water has ever not died, so we should stop drinking water.
Still spoiled in society.
To end the show.
Sorry.
Thanks to Fook me.
Nice teamwork.
And Fook you. We a huge shout out to our newest member.
Is she disabled?
No.
Can I rip off one of her?
She hasn't been assaulted.
She's got a hatchet.
Give me the Asian.
I mean,
are you cutting off her foot or something?
Which limb?
Don't go too hard. Like, it's got to be.
Hey! Stop Asian hate. What is going on here?
If she's a victim of Asian hate, I don't mind you doing
What's
that.
the thing that they do?
Tiger White says, I have an anthology book on early American literature. I bring this up because the arguments these dorks made in this video are no different from any of the brimstone and fire preachers of the 1600s to 1700s. Lily Lovestuff says, I can think of multiple African cultures that are matriarchal, including a number of Muslim ones, and 2 in Asia.
It is a black.
And John says, John's not even right. Or sorry, Meek says, John's not even right. The Shang dynasty was very egalitarian. Even women generals, they lasted almost 600 years.
What do they do in those countries? Don't they like carve their stomachs open or something?
No, but she needs to live. She needs to live.
Maybe like just a hand.
A hand? Yeah,
that
I'm
she
okay
tried
with
to
a hand.
steal.
That should be a metal. That should work. No, on the cloth. That's a metal table.
You're right. See, we compliment
What
each
is
other.
happening right now?
I was like, that's a metal table. Can we?
Okay, what did she steal?
Can we
appreciate it?
Hold on.
No, she just.
It's the ginger turmeric moringa. It hasn't
Nice.
been steeping long enough.
Thanks for being a trad wife.
It hasn't been steeping long enough.
I know
Put
I'm not
it
drinking and I'm
down.
just... John, this is called a relationship. I just wanted to point it out since you've never had one.
He's also never had sex.
That's true. Hi, Olive.
I also brought you a kitty.
I see that.
She
Your-
looked at
your heart, John.
She looked at someone the wrong way on the subway.
Yeah.
She looked at someone the wrong way.
No, she didn't even look at him on the subway. She just happened to be on the subway.
You disrespect me.
I lived in New York for 12 years, and
Yeah, you wanna go
I
down.
gotta say there is some crazy people.
I'm gonna
in
take
New
off
York.
the whole lower arm because I don't want her to wear like a hook and be a pirate because that's cool and she doesn't
Okay.
deserve that.
All right. Come on. Here we go. Oh.
We should have anticipated that.
Here,
On.
give me
I
the
don't-
copy.
That's just get here.
my
Do the arm.
Okay.
Here we go.
John Doyle, genius.
You're a mess,
Well,
man.
now it looks like blood. This is what Asian people's blood looks like.
Brown soot.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. I mean, I don't have no arm now.
I had no Anna.
How
I've been
gonna
great
eat
sharing
the
my family. I now had no arm.
Good thing chopstick in one hand. Okay. So
Savannah,
Racist voices.
how you feeling over there?
No comment on any of this.
All right, that's a victim
What-
of
what is
Asian hate.
happening right now?
That's a victim of Asian hate.
Here, take your
The
copy.
handsome white man, black person expert. He take my arm.
All right, you said take my hand in marriage. You took it to a new level. You took the whole arm. All right, anyway, you can find John Doyle on Instagram and on Heck Off Commie on YouTube, and also, is it johndoyle.com?
More like hack off commie,
Yeah,
am I right?
uh-huh.
I don't do humor.
Real-
Yeah, it's youtube.com/John Doyle.
I know, I'll sit here and be like, I'm like trying to make a joke, and John's like, in the end, we're all gonna get shot by Antifa.
That's
and
epic. Do you not have like a desire to like die?
I've been in front of Antifa many times, and I've been injured by them, and I've never once thought the way I want to die is by a fat transgender with a Molotov cocktail. I've never thought that.
Not like in a degree.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to die. I know that death is
Apparently we need to
eventually
go get some
coming, and
Molotovs.
which makes me want to live my life as best as I can.
Yeah.
Dr.
I
White
don't-
says, in
I'm
regard
not
to
looking
sexual liberation, the Philippines was a haven for basically femboys who would marry other men and were treated as full-blooded women, both socially and legally. All this was normal in the Philippines until the late 19th and early 20th century. Take a wild guess what caused that kind of change.
Or do it.
I want to live, but I can't help but be sort of like excited about a scenario where like you are
could die with honor.
You're asked exactly.
But is it dying by a fat Antifa honor?
Only-
or is that just sad?
It's a good question.
It depends.
Tea with Goblin says, fun fact, after the Black Death wiped out more than a third of Europe's population, there was far greater demand for laborers to work the lands of wealthy noblemen. Since their labor was now that much more in demand, peasants could demand higher wages, and women took on much more of the work that men had undertaken. This massive social upheaval paved the way for the European Renaissance. So actually, sometimes women and poor having bargaining power is good, actually. And Grey Dutch, thanks for 22 months. Says the collective comedy ability is being brought down so low by these fucks. Yeah.
If they catch you lacking it, like in traffic or something, or like at a riot, then that's not honorable. But if you're like,
Antifa's not black, my friend.
if you're like wound,
Give
you
us
know-
your perfect ending. Let's hear it.
I told you it would be a scenario where I'm arrested. I'm taken, and I don't even know who would be in power. Like, who like probably that person we saw earlier.
Fill in the blanks.
They're like the American dictator, and then all they do is they're like, you must endorse your support for the global libtard agenda, and you have to do your show on state TV. And I'd be like, no, and then they'd kill me. Like,
execute.
I don't know how to break it to you, John, but people on the left actually have some talented, like, creators and people who can communicate information, you would not be needed.
You on live
To be clear, I am not one of them. I'm just saying they exist.
TV would be even more epic, so that the front brains splatter into the camera lens, and it's like, and like
you know
just
who
see
it would be
falling.
that would be in power is Joe Biden's new nuclear hire.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the nuclear waste tire in a dog outfit,
That's
like with
who.
a gag on it, like roar, roar, speaking to you, and then like blow your brains
Like
out
you
in a
have to
dog
speak
outfit.
to me in dog, or you're getting
My
executed.
last word would be an epithet, and it would be epic. And it'd be like the shot heard around the world, and all of a sudden everyone would just start saying that word, and then we rise up. And then they're gonna put statues of me in San Francisco, all the like gay cities, as a humiliation ritual as we start.
The gay cities.
Okay, never mind.
We're gonna stop there. Anyway,
End the show.
John
You thought
Doyle and
this
Adam
out.
Krieger, thank you so much. If you make it this far in the podcast, I hope you like the podcast.
I just want to point out, imagine how bad the conversations are when the cameras aren't running. This is what they deemed was suitable to put on the internet. Just saying. Think it through.
Podcast. If you make it as far in the show and you don't like it, you're retarded because you need to figure something else to do with your time. But if you're not mentally handicapped, you might leave a review. And of course, I've always told Sav to not bring the pro John Doyle ones when John Doyle's on. Does she listen? No.
That's all there is. It's not my
Yeah.
fault.
And it's so true.
Yeah, I've told her not to. We can't stoke his ego. It's already too big. It barely fits in his head. All
I got
right.
a big head though.
So sank. We do. But on the kidding note, we love to bring positive John Doyle reviews when John Doyle's on.
Sure.
And we like to bring him on at least every other week.
Yep.
We do. We like to hear from the big brain boy. Soph Sank says, greatest show. I have been watching this show for years. It's literally my lifeblood. I didn't say that, but I'm insinuating. My sister showed me it when y'all were still talking to people on the streets. Well, that was like in 2018. Thank you for being so based. Love y'all. P.S. Tell John that I have a hot Catholic girl for him that just wants to homeschool her future sons and obviously work in the kitchen.
Sounds like a federal agent to me. I don't know
Send
about that.
pics.
That
Always
being said,
send pics.
I've said this for years. All I need to know to evaluate a prospective wife would be her.
Does she glow in the dark?
A photograph, her SAT
Look at
score.
John looks like a midget. He looks like the.
He does.
I'm not even gonna bother to fix it.
He looks like a kid.
Yeah.
Her
Just
SAT
like
score,
tiny
and then a
John.
5-minute
Pick up your Barbie.
conversation
Pick up your
with her
Barbie and
dad.
hatch it so someone can screenshot.
I have a feeling that in this whole dynamic, John Doyle's like that younger sibling that likes to pal around with the older siblings.
Yeah.
And the mom is just like, you have to be nice to your brother. And yeah, I feel like that's the kind of dynamic that occurs here. Because, like, number one, it doesn't seem like he's confident in what he's saying when he's talking around these guys.
Mm-mm.
And they also just railroad right over him.
No. Dr. White says, by the way, those Filipino femboys were and still are called Pinoy Pinay. Okay.
This and put it in the telegram. You got to.
This is the last thing you see before you die.
Is like, there you go, guys. John Doyle, heck off Kami. We have one more from Alexander Blank. Says, came from YouTube to give 5 stars. Thank you. I was led to this podcast trying to rummage. Oh, I love these ones. These are my favorite ones. Trying to rummage through the internet, searching like a methed up prospector for more content from the leader of the one and true conservative party, John Doyle. Still yet to have seen him be bested in a debate properly because the minds of the Coomers have been clouded by fluoride. Proud Doyle cultist. Side note, Elijah is pretty cool too.
Literally everything you just said was correct. You clearly have a good read on things. You're an intelligent guy, which is why you watch Elijah. It's why you watch me.
That's why you watch Adam Krigler live at night.
Sure.
Big supporter. Anyway, make sure you can follow Savannah Hernandez as well at the Rapid Fire podcast, where Sav says on YouTube before it gets taken down, show some support to the SOB families. Also, remember that there's a shop called shopslightlyoffensive.com that's fake, and they use offer code SOB for discounts. It's freaking fake. It's not mine. It says the official store of Slightly Offensive. It's illegal, and we're working on it. That's not my store. It is not the official store. You can go to
you're serious?
shop.blazemedia.com.
I thought this was like a way to try to get people to go.
No,
check it
it's
out.
genuinely
No, it's actually.
shop.blazemedia. My clothing's sold on blazemedia.com, not on that. They literally just ripped all the
Someone's stealing their merch.
logos and stuff and made a fake, slightly offensive clothing store.
Wow.
That's a real.
As opposed to John, who steals trademarked characters from Disney and puts them on shirts, and that works out just fine.
Is it good merch though? I mean,
No, I'm not happy about it.
Okay.
I'm not happy about it. Don't do that. Don't be a loser like that. Don't do that shit. Be original.
Make your own shit.
Yeah, seriously.
They're speaking
Thank you.
directly to you, John.
Anyway, I don't know how do we end this? Thanks so much to my guests for coming on. You guys were incredible. We amputated something we talked about.
For legal purposes, this is a joke. But always remember, it is always morally righteous to steal from Nazis. Joke, lawyers.
Weird things. And did you have fun?
I had a great time.
You had a good time?
I had a great time. Yeah.
All right. My name is Elijah Schaefer, your top 17 host here at Slightly Offensive, the best worst show on Blaze TV, where we always have confetti of color. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks to the Diversity Coalition. And as we would leave, we give you one drag queen word of the day, which is not a word because leftists can't understand what a dictionary is. And we have the phrase drag family, which says drag families, also known as houses, have an essential role in the ballroom scene. As queer people, most drag performers get to choose their family or create their own house because God knows that God's not in charge of choosing your family. You get to choose it. A house is a safe place and usually a replacement for a real family and a community in which queer people can live. AKA, they're not real. They don't even have real relationships. It's all fake, and that's your word of the day from the drag dictionary. Anyway, have a great rest of the week, and may God bless you.
Are the ones that are forged by genuine appreciation and love, as opposed to people you're forced to be with because you are blood related to them.
They're ethno-nationalists. Don't look too far into it. They're not that bright. And Indy Owl says, speaking of which, is John's store even back up from that again? No.
The United States of America, I'm signing out.
So yeah, that's what John Doyle does now. He's even worse than he used to be, considering the stakes are not his channel being deleted, they're someone else's. So that's great. Moving on. Hopefully John fucks off. This was a cleanse someone sent. I guess we can check this out.
Knife stuck in your eyeball get you down.
It sure does.
Does the knife in your eye make it more difficult to date?
Gee whiz.
Or get in the way of your daily tasks?
Yeah, I hate the knife in my eye. Also, because it hurts.
Some people just pull it out. But pulling a knife out of your eye will only result in a gooey and drippy mess. Others might try to get rid of the knife in their eye by banging the back of their head with a pan until the knife falls out. But that will only kill you.
So what's a guy with a knife in his eye supposed to do?
Don't end your strife by getting rid of your knife. Just jazz it up with Knife Life.
Wow, instead of trying to change what makes me different, Knife Life helps me feel good about having a knife in my eye. And the smiley face style makes the knife in my eye less off-putting.
The smiley face style makes the knife in his eye less off-putting.
Thanks, Knife Life.
Knife Life is easy to use. Simply slip the beautiful sock-like cloth over the knife coming out of your eye, and you now have a beautiful sock-like cloth over the knife coming out of your eye.
Knife Life has a style for every occasion, like that stressful board meeting.
Or for taking cans out of the cupboard.
Knife Life even has one for people who love to read. Excuse me, I need to read.
There's even a Knife Life for that special moment.
I told you to see a doctor, Warren.
How about for when you have a knife in your ear?
No. Knife Life cannot be used for knives in the ears, nose, mouth, cheeks, side of ribs, feet, lower abdomen, hands, top of head, side of head, upper thigh, lower thigh, mid-thigh, calves, taint, or eyebrows. It's also not to be used for forks in the eye.
Knife Life, available at Claire's. And check out Hurl Girl.
Don't clean it up, just cover it up with Hurl Girl.
Order today and you'll get a second Knife Life free of charge. Call 1-800-KNIFE-LIFE. Again, that's 1-800-KNIFE-F275.
Ow!
Ow! Ow!
Oh, I have a boo-boo in my eyes.
What?
Just the title of this.
Oh.
We already did that.
Why don't you exit out of it? Or did you?
I did. What's Undead Chronic been up to? Don't you miss that guy?
Not in the slightest.
Oh boy, we should check out what he's been doing.
Hey guys, it's Undead Chronic, back again.
I wonder if he's commented on your, like,
Oh,
shit
he did.
recently.
Oh, he did. Anyway, back to Undead Chronic's new video.
Again with another video. This time I'm going to explain a very contentious topic. I'm going to talk about something that seems to get me banned more than roasts, more than more racial ambiguous, kind of like the typical half calf you see in New York City. I'm going to talk about the absolute...
Is he talking about, like, multiracial people and referring to them as, like, a kind of coffee? Yikes.
Absolute state of white women. Feminism has ruined white women.
Oof.
Feminism...
Oof. Can I make a really, really gross prediction?
Sure.
Is he gonna say that people being feminists has made them less attractive compared to them as young women, if not actual minors?
Probably.
Has ruined white women. Let me say that one more time. For all the white women over the age of 24 who want to obtain gametes from a man with the resources and or who has high value. Feminism has ruined you, white women.
I prefer to obtain my gametes from other women. Thank you.
H-Bird says, so is tonight Chud Watch or Racist Watch? They're the same picture.
I want to use another word. I'm going to try to censor myself. Look at this picture. What was the impetus for this video?
Presumably because a bunch of chuds realized that women who are in Harry Potter are adults now, and they're not attracted to adult women, they're attracted to children, so they went, feminism, instead of just being like, oh, people look different when they get older.
You have an eyelash that I would like to get off.
I have many eyelashes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Emma Watson. We'll get to her real quick. I can already feel my tongue dehydrating by how much dryness that chick puts off. On the bottom, you see white women who are relatively attractive. The bottom left, she's a redhead. She gets 2 points. Middle bottom, oh yeah. I would definitely give the middle bottom white woman some children. What does that mean?
Oh no. Oh god. Dude.
Undead Chronic, show your face challenge.
I think they were actual children.
I don't know how old they were in these movies. These look like maybe Order of the Phoenix?
Yes.
Circa Order of the Phoenix? I'm not sure.
They're all Order of the Phoenix.
Oh boy. What year did Order of the Phoenix come out? Order of the Phoenix. 2007. What's her name?
I don't know. Emma Watson was definitely over 18, I'm pretty sure. The other two are the ones that I don't know.
Emma Watson was born in... So she was 17. She was 17 when that came out.
Oh, and... Oh, Bonnie Wright was on right underneath it. Reopened.
Yeah.
So 31. So she's
same
the same
age. Okay.
And
who was the other one? Luna?
Yeah, I don't know who played Luna. Hey, chat, who played Luna?
That's the character.
Yeah.
Duh. She was born in 91.
So she was younger. So she was 16. Undead Chronic. You are literally talking about the attractiveness of children. Actual fucking children. You need to get a grip, get off the fucking internet, and get some help.
But the internet's where he finds all his lolly.
Oh, yikes. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ugh.
I mean, Chronic, you just want to smash and dash. No. If them chick in the middle bottom came up to me.
Also, who's to say that they weren't already feminists at this point? Like, you can be a feminist as a child if you're raised correctly.
Tucker White says, on second thought, can we go back to John Doyle and the other dorks being racist? That was mildly eye-rolling. This is ew. Nick says, how bad is it when the Tate brothers are the least offensive thing we've watched tonight? And Tea with Goblin says, honestly, one of the biggest differences between being in my mid-20s and my mid-30s is that I am now delighted when shitty men find me and my feminism unattractive. Being pretty is overrated. Being an eldritch bog witch whose mere existence is enough to enrage weak men is priceless.
Someone in chat, just refresh my memory of exactly what this man said. He said that he would give 16-year-old Ivana Lynch children.
It says, Chronic, I want to build a strong family. I want to cook you potato soup and cook you steak. I'm down. I'm absolutely down. Same with Emma Watson on the bottom right. More than down. Let us raise our white nationalist flag and make a lot of white babies. Here's the problem, though.
Does Emma Watson have a boyfriend or anything?
She is happily and proudly single, according to her.
Has she had previous boyfriends?
At least last time I checked. She might be in a relationship.
I'm just trying to see.
Oh, look! It looks like she is in a relationship.
Undead Chronic, are you at least this attractive? I'm just checking. Because you seem to think for some reason that you are someone who would be appealing. And this is, of course, taking your personality out of it. Because your personality is a complete non-starter. But let's say it wasn't, right? How you look? I noticed you've never posted your face. I wonder why. Nick says, would be a shame if that video were reported for pedophilia. Just saying. It sure would be, wouldn't it?
White women have been corrupted by feminism. So you don't get this. No, you don't get the bottom.
Today I learned linear time and aging did not exist until feminism.
You get the top. Let's look.
Did he just admit he's a white nationalist? Yeah.
Look at the top left. Oh! Oh! Yeah, no thanks. Okay, top middle. No. Absolutely not. You need to take the scarf and cover your entire head. You know what? Take that back. You need to wear a burqa. Top right, Emma Watson. Oh, we'll get to Emma Watson. Feminism has convinced white women, instead of settling down, submitting to one man in their youth when they're the most valuable, to go off, chase a career.
Undead Chronic, show your face, and considering you believe in traditional gender roles, show your face and bank account challenge. Spare Keys says this guy has to be on some sort of watch list, right? I hope so.
That's oh my fucking God.
Oh, I know, he's the worst.
Make money.
Nandy Owl says also comparing movie shoots to more candid pictures.
Okay, I have a question. He is obviously very, very, very anti-feminism. Wouldn't, like, if he thought that was a good view to have,
sure,
you'd think that he would have a lot more options for people to date, and you'd think that this would just be a way to weed people out. If someone's a feminist, he shouldn't want to date them anyway.
I believe at one point, according to him, he was MGTOW, but now he doesn't even like the label of MGTOW. Or something.
So then why does it matter if women have careers?
I have no idea. I think he just wants to be bitter so he doesn't have to focus on himself. Good tea.
Money and party. Well, why can't they enjoy their youth? Because that youth, the reason why they get these jobs, the reason why they get those high-paying jobs, affirmative action, the reason why they get this free money, the drinks at the bar, the dates, the free food, the free rides, the reason why everybody treats them
These women
like
have to get free drinks at the bar? Are you kidding me?
I also like the idea that according to him, the original plan... I'm gonna stick the spoon in here.
No, that's my tea.
I thought you were done with it. It's empty.
It's not even close to empty.
Pretty close to empty. Anyway, they were hired to play, like, characters who are women. Well, girls. They were hired to play young Hogwarts students. Do you think that they were gonna get those jobs? Like, they were gonna give them to, like, little boys at some point, and then they decided to do some sort of affirmative action for women casting women characters? What are you talking about?
their goddesses walking on earth is inherently linked to their beauty. And their beauty, because when I talk about whether women are hot or not,
But
I'm
you
not...
don't think they're beautiful.
Again, Emma Watson was hired when she was, like, 11 or 10 or something. Yikes. H-Baird says, if women didn't have careers, they would need a man to support them, which means guys like this would have a chance at a date. That's why these guys are like this. The thing is, if he still acted like this, no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. Even in a really restrictive society that required women to, like, pair up with men in order to survive, he would still be a weirdo loner who hates everyone. Nonandia Owl says, I guess he misses Shakespearean theater where male actors played every role. Until Gwyneth Paltrow broke that barrier in that documentary, Shakespeare in Love.
Lauren Southern.
Do you want
I'm
to
not
come help us?
some 30-year-old half-calf producing chick out here trying to suck the blood out of nubile white boys. No. Men decide who's hot. What do you think is more important to a man deciding a woman's worth physically? Do you think
Why do you assume they give a shit what you think?
biology? Is she
Any less what he thinks.
No.
I just think that he's fucking hilarious to laugh at.
I know.
And really fucking dumb.
He's my favorite. God damn it, Lou. Stepping on the keyboard as always. Where were we?
to go off, chase a career, producing chick out?
We were around there. What was I gonna say? He's funny to watch to me because there are other like MGTOW red pill weirdos who actually kind of concern me, like Bass FCZ, because he's like creepy and comes off like he actually might hurt someone a little bit. This guy just makes me laugh. Oh, we have two kitties
Out here trying to suck the blood out of nubile white boys. No. Men decide who's hot. What do you think is more important to a man deciding a woman's worth physically? Do you think biology? Is she putting off the right biological cues and markers signaling fertility?
Chilifish, thanks for 100 bits. Rosalind Faye says, the cruel truth, a father won't give him their high value daughter. What do we...
1 second, just keep going. I'm doing something in chat.
I've looked for him before. He doesn't show up.
Something that's been developed over tens of thousands of years, if not hundreds of thousands of years? Or is it a feminist dogma? Oh, I see your PhD. I feel so attracted to you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, PhD candidate. It's attractive.
You know what I say? I've never had a girl's degree suck my schlong. I've never had it. She'd never be able to produce a degree and go...
Have you ever had your dick sucked? Genuine question.
And get me off.
Why does it matter if the degree can give you head and not like the person that you're having sex with?
If you just want like your dick sucked, just get like one of those fleshlights with the mouth attachment.
Yeah.
Ever.
Pay for it.
Huh?
If you have so much money, then pay for it.
So I look at the attractive white women and I think they're young, they're fertile, they're not obese, they have symmetrical faces. Why?
Wait, does he think any of them on the top are obese? Holy fucking shit.
Do I think that's attractive? Because my genes, my biology is telling me that
Are you too big to get down?
Tea with Goblin says, Chronic, Sweet Pea, no one is sucking the blood of white boys. That's completely ineffectual and messy. The industrious feminist knows to put them in a mincer. Let's sausage.
is a signal for fertility. So the same reason I would sacrifice for my wife, that same value is what these white women use to live the high life throughout their teenage years and their 20s. And then when they hit 30, they expect me to treat them the same way I treat them when they're 18. No. It's called the wall. The wall is undefeated.
Guys, he was using wife and hypothetical. I don't believe he's actually married.
Throughout millennia, the wall has stood strong as white women and their useless eggs smashed against it. So no, I'm not going to sacrifice decades of earnings.
White women are feminists?
I don't think he cares. I'm pretty sure he's like a white nationalist. He's racist, so I don't think he gives a shit what people who are non-white do.
Okay.
I'm not going to sacrifice.
I'm guessing he's a 14 words person, if you know what I mean. Stone Corbell says, oh well, guess beggars can be choosers.
My life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for an old white woman. Do you know why? What did she sacrifice for me? The only time a 30-year-old white woman can...
Someone asks 14 words. I'm going to deny that because I don't want it to automatically go in. It's basically a white nationalist, white supremacist meme. I don't want to say it on stream, but you can Google it if you want to know what it is.
Sacrifice for me, which I find valuable, is when she's already raising 5 of my white kids. Oh, she's single? Oh, you want to give me 5 kids when you're 30? Nah. Hit me up when your niece turns 18. Hit me up when your daughter turns 18. I'm not interested in you. Look at the...
No one is interested in you either. It's reciprocal.
Top left. Let me move it around. Look at the top left, guys. No hymen, no diamond. I am simply not interested in used goods. I'm not.
Do you think this is all excuses he gives himself so he doesn't have to admit to himself that no one actually wants to be with him because he's repugnant, so he has to say, you're not denying me, I'm denying you.
That's the whole MGTOW thing. They are saying, well, I didn't want you anyway, I'm going my own way.
Sky Comet Fallen says, nobody wants you to date them. How is it you assume us 30-somethings want someone like you? Narnady Owl says, I don't think this guy respects anyone but maybe other white men that think like him. I think even that's marginal.
Oh, Chronic, you're such a misogynist. Oh, Chronic, how dare you see a woman by the actions or the consequences of her choices for decades.
KBS says, he's one of those guys that thinks the hymen is destroyed by intercourse, I guess.
AIDS. I
He also probably thinks that
would much rather wait years. I would rather sit alone in my house and wait decades to find a worthwhile wife to raise a family with before I settle.
18, right?
Do
Chronic. I don't think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for you on this one. I'm going to be honest. Stone Corbell says, and you will. I missed your bits message, sorry. Tucker White said, yes, woman's only value is in her ovaries. Seriously, even in the less egalitarian days of the 50s that these fuckers pine for, women would have punched MGTOWs in the face.
any of these 18-year-old white women, these hot chicks, do any of them settle for a guy that's 5'1"? Settle for a guy that makes under 6 figures? Settle for a guy that...
Yes. No short man, nor anyone who makes under 6 figures, which I think is the majority of people in the United States, they never get married or have long-term relationships or children.
See, my father, he's a pretty short guy. I think he's only like 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
And he's never made 6 figures. He's married, and
2
he
kids.
has been married for decades.
Citosaurus says, he makes me want to vomit. He's such a whiny baby, and I'm pretty sure his Pornhub is exclusively populated with barely legal. Ninja Owl says, I guess he's doing a good job sticking to his morals on that front.
Doesn't go to the gym? No, they don't. So let's take that same energy and treat these post-wall white thoughts, these hag raven looking bitches. Let's treat them the way they treat dudes who are 5'0". If you're born in 19 anything, you're too old for me now. That's right. And now with social media and Instagram, we get to delight in the salty tears, the repercussions of these useless harlots of the West. I am not interested in a woman trying to fix her life with my wallet.
Can we see your wallet?
Okay.
What's your bank account look like?
Dude, you have a fucking link to your PayPal or whatever up in the corner. If you had a big wallet, you wouldn't need that.
No, probably not.
You're feminist. You're equal to a man. How about you go live life like a man?
Yep.
The 3 people on screen all have more money than you will ever conceivably make in your entire life.
Also, it's scary and worrying to me that this man can't look at the picture of someone that is very clearly not 18 and not be able to tell. Like, I see 18-year-olds walking around on... Let's be real. I see 20-year-olds walking around, and I'm like, oh, there's no way that they should be in college. Like, they look like actual children.
We live in a college town. I've mentioned that before.
How about you sit alone in your house for years like a man? How about you go to sleep in your bed cold and alone like a man?
Oh, this
Excuse
is
me.
just sad.
I stand corrected. My father is 5'8". I am sorry.
Tucker White says, now this might be a crazy-ass observation, and you'll both probably say I'm nuts, but I think that maybe the reason he's not getting P-word is because, get ready, his shitty toxic personality. You don't say.
How about you go pay your taxes like a man? And you know what?
I think they pay taxes.
I've paid my taxes since I was 16 or 17 whenever I started working.
I still got to file mine this year.
I'm going to care about you as much as you care about men. I don't.
Okay? No one cares if you care about them, you weirdo.
No!
I don't care if you care about me. Like, get a life, dude.
This is fucking fantastic. I love him. They're rich, so they probably don't. What a gold mine. That's enough of him. I await him watching this on stream. If you watch this on stream, good luck, Undead Chronic. Should we invite him to the wedding?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I tried.
No zombies. He doesn't deserve the free food.
Did I catch the cleanse link? Was it the knife thing? Because we watched the knife thing.
One thing that every failed leader that I've ever met had in common, they didn't know how to do the job of the people that they were in charge of. Just for an example, let's say you're a cashier, okay? Would you trust your supervisor if push came to shove, he didn't even know how to use the register? No, of course you wouldn't. So why is it that men feel that women will want to sleep with them when they themselves don't know what it takes to be railed by a man? You want to clap more? Get clapped.
Going deeper with Richard Ryder. Follow for more.
Yes! Yeah! I love that. That's great.
Are you vegan yet? Are you vegan yet? What are you waiting for? Are you vegan yet? Are you vegan yet? Open the vegan door. Saving animals begins with you. If your neighbor can be vegan, then so can you.
I'm excited. You ready to answer 7 questions?
Should I?
Although I guess they're not for you. You're already vegan. So.
Doesn't matter. I might have a difference of opinion.
Dr. White says, vegan teacher, F you, Hannah. It's her job.
And I do it well.
True.
Animals have the right not to be harmed by humans.
That's a good question, philosophically speaking. Rights. I would consider rights to be a social construct, and we usually determine that rights are something that are given to humans, I guess? Do they have a right? I'll put it this way. I think it would be ideal if we didn't hurt animals. Do I think it's a right? I think my actions kind of say no. Nick says, this is a regular Hall of Fame day for Chud Watch. I know, right? Princess Amelia says, oh dear, that vegan teacher time, and I'm not really eating any meat. Oh well, at least my macaroni and cheese has some animal product in it. It's the joke!
Okay, so my viewpoint on this is... no, animals don't have the right not to be harmed in terms of being... oh god, this hurts me to say. But like right now, animals do not have the right in the law not to be like used as food. Now, outside of that, there are laws that prevent animal abuse to some animals.
Sure.
And so, yes, those animals do have the right to not be harmed in those ways. But, like, should they have the right? I would say yes. I would not want people to hurt animals, even for food. But that's, like, an ideal.
Think about it. Not to be harmed. I'm not talking about self-defense if you're being attacked. I'm talking about just in general. If animals are just there minding their own business, like a cat
there are some people
or a
that
dog,
don't have rights to not
should they
be
have the
harmed by
right
other
not to be
people.
harmed by humans?
So,
What about other animals? What about squirrels? If they're just minding their own business outside, just climbing trees, do you think they have a right not to be harmed by humans?
Is that a big problem? Are people going around and murdering squirrels for no reason randomly?
I mean, unless you count like accidentally hitting them by a car.
No.
What about other animals? Like pigs, chickens, and cows. Should they have the right not to be harmed by humans? Let me know. Tell me your thoughts.
As someone whose favorite meat is pork, out of all of them, probably pigs. Pigs are pretty intelligent. I would probably base it on intelligence. But, you know, that's just my standard.
Okay, so Hannah and I got into like a really big argument like early on in our relationship.
Is this the long pig argument?
No, it's not
Okay.
the long pig argument. Where she said something very similar to someone in chat. They said, I could never give up cheese, butter, and eggs but I'm content admitting vegans are better people than me.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that so much.
I stand by that statement, but we don't discuss it.
No, because if you are content eating those things, then stand by that position. Like, don't tell me that I am a better person than you. Because that's just fucking dumb. I hate that. Just be like, my position is I want to continue eating animal products, and I think that that's fine, which you clearly do, which means that we are on the same level. Don't, like, put me up on a pedestal because I'm doing something that you don't want to do. Like,
I would just compare it to this. Like, I don't look into, like, where the clothing brands I buy are sourced. Do I intellectually and philosophically understand that it would be a better thing for me to research every clothing brand that I buy and every product in order to ensure that people are not mistreated along the supply line and have their labor abused or have their, like, work underpaid in some sweatshop in a third world? Yes. Do I do that? No.
okay, but that doesn't mean that you are worse than anyone else that does do that.
I would argue I am.
Okay,
Princess
but
Amelia says, well, there is the case here in Britain where some people argue gray squirrels should be considered vermin as they're displaced our native red squirrels.
I really don't like this argument because there are people that cannot be vegan because of food deserts or medical conditions, and saying that vegans are inherently better than non-vegans is bad.
I'm not talking about everyone, though. I'm talking about me personally. I don't have any of those issues. As far as I know. I've never dietarily tried to only eat vegan, I guess.
Okay. I just think that it's a really, really bad thing to say.
Which is why we don't discuss it.
Thoughts? No, we don't discuss it because originally I was upset that if you know that it's a good thing to not eat animals, why would you continue to do it? That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is saying that vegans are inherently better is saying that non-vegans are inherently worse, which means that even people who cannot be vegan are worse, which it's not. Like, I'm not vegan to be put on a pedestal, and vegans shouldn't be.
That doesn't mean someone saying that they think that your moral position is the correct one is not saying that you are on a pedestal or morally superior.
Okay, but saying vegans are better people is definitely putting you above people that are not vegan.
So if I phrase it, I believe that veganism is probably the morally correct decision considering wanting to lessen suffering of other beings. Okay, that's how I'll phrase it then.
I'm not even talking about you. I'm talking about the person in chat.
Sidosaurus says, I have a lot of food issues and only eat certain things for fear of vomiting, and a lot of those things are animal products, the safe foods. And I know personally that I would never be vegan, but I do have a lot of compassion and wish things could be different for animals. It's a weird place to be. And Tea with Goblin says, Baha, would you eat eggs if you owned and raised the chicken yourself and knew they were happy and comfortable? Or if you had a cow that you milked yourself, not sea lining, genuinely interested?
Absolutely not. I hate eggs. I have always hated eggs. I can't, even before I was vegan, I couldn't eat eggs, and my dad can attest to this. I would not eat eggs. I didn't even like things that had eggs in them. Like brownies, I could taste the eggs in the brownies, so I wouldn't eat brownies.
I don't know how that's even possible.
And so, no, I would not eat eggs.
I think eggs are delicious.
I would also never raise chickens or cows. And I know that there are some people that are vegan other than eggs that they raise themselves, which I think is weird and I don't think is necessarily vegan.
I'd imagine it's people whose main concern with, like...
No, I understand.
Is the...
I understand.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a difference between, like, wanting to reduce harm
No, I
versus...
agree that... I'd say that's not vegan, but...
Yeah. I'm just saying that it's not vegan.
Sure.
But, like... Now, it might be different. Also, I'm lactose intolerant, so I wouldn't drink milk. But let's say that there was, like, lab-grown meat.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are some vegans that would say that that's not vegan because even though they're taking the cells from the chickens that they're making the lab-grown chicken from a feather that's fallen off, they say that even that is, you know, harming that one chicken, or using animal byproducts, you know, which is taking something from the animal that you don't have permission to take.
That seems so far away from the pragmatic point of veganism that it's wild to me.
I'm putting out there that some vegans wouldn't say that's vegan. But I would say if it's lab-grown meat, then, like, you know, oh, God, oh, what did you do? Oh.
I actually turned on the pass-through.
I don't want to hear my own voice. But if it's lab-grown meat, I would say that if you're eating only lab-grown meat, then I would call that vegan. But as only if no animals are being, like, harmed.
I long for the day of lab-grown cheese. That will be the day I go vegan.
Gelatin is a protein obtained by boiling the skin, tendons, ligaments, and bones of cows or pigs. Many candies, like gummy bears, Jell-O, and marshmallows, contain gelatin. Read labels carefully and Google vegan options. Do you think you would be proud of yourself if you became vegan? I know.
If that was a goal I had set out for myself and I achieved it, sure, in the sense that you have any goal and then you achieve it and that's good, sure. That just doesn't happen to be a goal I have for myself. So I guess no, from my current mindset.
So I'm not proud of myself for being vegan. I'm proud of myself for, like, the willpower that it takes to be vegan for as long as I've been vegan. Like, because it's something that you have to make a conscious choice of doing every single day. And, you know, there are times when it would be a lot easier to not be vegan, but, like, I'm really happy that I am because, number one, it made me branch out and eat a lot more food than I used to. I used to eat a lot of meat and I just didn't try anything new, and I hated trying things that were new. But being vegan, you have to try a lot of new things, and, like, there are still things that I don't like mushrooms, and a lot of vegan things have mushrooms in it, but you just get more creative with your food, and those are things that I'm proud of that I've gotten because I'm vegan, but I'm not necessarily proud of myself for being vegan.
Tea with Goblin says, I'm a weird vegetarian. I buy soy instead of cow milk, and like 80% of my diet is already vegan, but I do eat kangaroo because they're a native meat that is not farmed and is leaner and tastier than beef. Ethically, it's not perfect, and it's better than nothing. I've been wanting to try that. We have a local store that has some jerkies made out of different exotic meats, including like ostrich, and I think there was a kangaroo one. I think I'm going to try the kangaroo at some point. I know you think that's gross.
Oh, no, I think that it's, I wouldn't call myself a vegetarian if I ate kangaroo. But, like, I'm not saying stop eating kangaroo. And I think it's great that 80% of your diet is already vegan. And everything that is, limiting harm is better.
I wonder if kangaroo tastes anything like venison.
Deer? Yeah. I've wondered that.
Bipedal deer.
Okay, I guess we gotta get my father some kangaroo. He said yummy.
When I get the kangaroo jerky, I'll get you some to try too.
Many of you are thinking, no, because you don't really care that much. But just thinking about it a little bit longer. It takes a certain amount of discipline, right?
Oh, I have a question.
To be able to...
Okay. Someone in chat said that in Florida they tried alligator. Does it really taste like chicken, or is that just something people say to try and get people to eat it?
It smells bad. I've smelled it before. I've never tasted it.
Like, I'm genuinely curious if it tastes like chicken.
Say no.
And that's a weird thing for a vegan to be asking.
To be brave enough.
Bittergrin says, I had kangaroo once. It tasted similar to bison. Oh, bison's pretty good.
To stand up to society. Imagine if you were vegan.
Interesting.
I mean, really an ethical person who cared about the
we have
environment.
two separate opinions.
See, that happens to me all the time, and it annoys me. Chat, it'd be so much easier if you all just had a hive mind and stopped having different opinions.
Yes.
The animals, and also about your own
Resistance is
health.
futile.
Do you think you would be proud to walk around knowing that you're not hurting anyone, that you're doing your best, that you're a role model to your brothers, your sisters, your parents, or your kids, cousins?
Man, she has a really inflated self-image. Hydrate.
I didn't even realize she was still
Whatever.
talking.
Do you think you would be proud of yourself if you became vegan?
No.
Being vegan doesn't mean that you just do your best not to eat, wear, or use animals. Being vegan also means you bravely speak out to defend them.
Christ.
Can you see yourself becoming vegan in the future?
If they were able to lab grow meat and cheese to the point that it's basically indistinguishable.
Try
I've
to
been
picture it.
vegan longer than you have, vegan teacher.
You know, there's this.
Morok says, when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with the Borg and Cybermen and legit thought they had the right idea of how to run a society.
Oh!
Boy, do I have a political ideology for you, comrade.
Book called The Secret. Have you ever read it? They also made it into a movie. It's basically about imagining what you want and focusing on that.
Did she
Only what you
cite The
want, not what you
Secret?
don't want, but just what you want.
Manifestation.
So
does
could you
not
see
work
yourself
in
becoming
that
vegan
way.
in the future? What would your plate look like? What would you look like shopping? What would go into your shopping cart? What about you? How would you look if you started eating much more healthy food, veggies, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and no more dead animals in your body? How would you walk? Would you walk a little bit taller? What do you think?
No. I don't have an inflated sense of self, lady.
Look in the mirror and sing this song. Sing, I will be brave, I'll be vegan from now on. Look in your heart and sing this song. Sing, I will be brave, I'll be vegan from now on. Eat only healthy vegan things. Never eat it.
Okay. But vegan teacher, your dog didn't consent to being vegan. Like, you can't just impose your will upon animals. That is not vegan. It is not vegan to force your animals to eat a certain way. They did not consent to that. Stop being a hypocrite.
Anyone's arms
Says, I feel like something not always considered when people argue that it is morally or ethically right to be vegan and that people should be vegan is that some people aren't able to be vegan, whether it be for monetary or health reasons. Yeah, Baha mentioned that a little earlier.
Don't eat anyone who has ears or eyes. Make sure when you eat that nobody cries. Break old habits you had for years. Save animals from so much terror and tears. Train yourself to always be in the mood to only buy healthy vegan food. Sing this song and declare it. I'll be vegan from now on. Declare Put your hand on your heart and sing it loudly. Today is the day I will start. I'll be vegan from now on.
Did you know that 99% of all meat eaten in North America comes from factory farms?
I can't say I knew the exact statistic, but that doesn't surprise me.
Just think about that. Try to think of the last 100 times that you ate meat. Maybe yesterday.
That's not really how that works. Unless I'm specifically going out and trying to find meat that isn't factory farmed, probably 100 of the last 100 I've had are that.
Maybe today. Think about it. All the chickens that you ate, all the cows, the pigs, and the turkeys.
I'm just gonna skip through the questions because I'm ready for this to be done. She's being boring.
99% of them came from factory farms.
Next question.
Did you know that a new study has found that vegan meals prepared at home cost 40% less than meat and fish meals?
Maybe if you only prepare them with vegetables and no, like, how do I put this? Like, meat...
Substitutes.
Yeah. Like, if you use no Beyond Meat or anything, I guess maybe... But I don't know if you'd be able to meet your, like, nutrient macros just on that alone.
Oh, you could. You definitely could. You don't have to eat meat substitutes.
Well, being cheaper?
Well, being cheaper, no. I thought you were just talking about...
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like...
I mean, if you were just using vegetables and, like, beans and stuff, it would be cheaper, and you can hit your macros. But, like, meat substitutes and, like, packaged foods and stuff do cost a lot. And especially if they're vegan and also organic, I hate that. Organic foods are, price hiked so much, and a lot of vegan stuff is organic, like the... vegan boxed macaroni and cheese is mostly organic, and I absolutely despise buying things that are organic.
Vix has confirmed that it's healthy to be vegan.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's also healthy to eat meat, and I say that as a vegan. Like, they haven't said that it's only healthy to be vegan.
Misleading. Tea with Goblin says, honestly, what does that vegan teacher want to happen to cats? They have to eat meat? Do we just cull all domestic cats? I guess as a vegan, you could refuse to own a cat, but I mean, by adopting a stray cat, you're reducing animal suffering, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's like something that is really frustrating to me, because there are some, like, there are some people that think vegans shouldn't have pets or whatever. And I think there are even some vegans that think you shouldn't have pets and that you shouldn't have horses and no one should ride horses and stuff like that. But, like, I love my tiny little babies.
I love you, Oliver.
And we take care of them just like cats should be taken care of. I feed them meat all the time because I am not them. I choose to be vegan. Because that's what I want. They don't choose to be vegan, and they love tuna and salmon. They aren't really chicken-eating cats.
Oliver.
Oh, look! He's such a happy boyo.
He's poking at the screen.
Such a happy boyo.
If you could push a button and the entire world would go vegan over the next year, would you push it?
Are we dominating people's wills? How does this function? Because I don't think taking away agency from people is a good thing. But if you could somehow convince them all organically, I guess, it'd be better for the environment. Especially if it applies to me and all of a sudden I'm very happy with, like, all vegan food and I'm not interested in cheese anymore. It'd be better for the environment.
Oliver looks so confused about this vegan teacher stuff.
Knowing all your friends and family would all be vegan too?
Can we angle the camera so people can...
Would that make a difference to you? Knowing you wouldn't be alone? Knowing that nobody would make fun of you? Knowing that everybody would encourage you? What do you think? Can you picture it?
No.
Gradually. So, animals on factory farms would be phased out gradually. People would stop forcing them to be pregnant. And more crops would grow. And the farmers would have jobs taking care of the crops instead of killing the animals. What do you think? If you could push a button and the entire world would go vegan over the next year, would you push it knowing all your friends and family would all be vegan too? Knowing all you do about how great being vegan is for the environment, and how good it is for your own health, and how great it is to not hurt the animals. Would you? Would you push that button?
Is that the last question? We done now? Bits for nose boops for Ollie. Boop.
He says, no, I want the mouse, please. He's pressing the button.
I know, it's the video's over anyway. Nick says, vegan teacher is trying to create that fucking button. Oliver, it's a screen. You can't touch it.
He likes the mouse.
Did you miss Peter? There was no Peter. Peter hasn't put out a new video in like a month unless he just put one out. In which case, I guess we'll cover it Friday if he did. He didn't put one out, did he? Iron Man debunked. That's probably interesting. That's a Chud video.
Olive, you're slowly destroying the pictures that your mommy has on her keyboard.
Alright, anyway, let's see who we're gonna rate. Olive, please be calm. I need to rate someone.
Come to mama. Come to mama. Hello, boyo. Hello, boyo. No, no, no. No, no, no. Hey, it's okay, baby. It's okay, baby. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hello. Hello. Oh, Jake's on. That's convenient.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Tomorrow is D&D, so there won't be a regular stream tomorrow, but there will be a D&D stream over on Actual Jake's channel, who we're rating right now. What else? What else? I'll be back Friday. That's about it. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Love you, Father. He probably didn't hear that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.